Boo. Hello. Hold on, I need to be louder. Okay, either that or the music's too quiet. The music's too quieter. Hello. Welcome to my room. Welcome to my stream. Welcome to my realm. Welcome to my fucking Thunderdome. Music cut out a really good time for that. Let me call Paction real quick. Hello? Hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I like that that's your thing. Your hello, hello. You've got a thing. I don't have a thing to intro. It's always awkward when I start.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. My default is, my instinct is to, do the welcome to my room, but I can't. I feel bad when I do that, but I can't stop doing it. So I don't know what to do. Welcome to my... It feels weird. It's too generic saying welcome to my stream. You know? Welcome to the void in which we all reside for the next 3 hours. There is no time or space in this little void that we have.
Oh.
We just exist together, and what are we playing?
Ace Attorney, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Welcome to that. Hello. How are you doing, Paction?
Good.
Good. How are you doing, chat? I don't think there's many people in chat yet, but hello. How are you? Hypothetical people in chat. You don't have to respond. It's okay. I know you're shy. How are we feeling about Ace Attorney today?
Feeling about Ace Attorney.
Yeah, like, how much do you remember? How ready are you to finish it?
I'm ready, yeah.
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 Do you have any theories that you've cooked up since last week that you'd like to share?
Oh, not that I'd like to share, but I want it back because it's an outlandish theory.
Well, now you have to say it.
All right. I'm not 100% sure who that man in the house is.
Oh,
but
the boat guy?
But I'm 100% sure. I think it might have been someone in that elevator.
Ooh.
When during what's his name's trauma.
Well, I mean, it's obviously not Edgeworth. So
No.
that leaves him between being the guy who was the suspect in his dad's murder, or like his dad.
Well, what I was implying was that it was the suspect in his
Okay.
death.
Well, wouldn't it be awesome if they were like, "Son, I'm alive"? That would be the craziest shit.
That would be, yeah.
And then then I find out that like they do that in the like 4th Ace Attorney game, and I'm like, what the hell? like they keep bringing up DL6 for some reason.
Oh my god. GL6 is like the
Is
constant
that, like,
ongoing.
case? Oh yeah. I thought you were asking me what it was. I was like,
Like the TV show. It's like the slap in the TV show, The Slap.
It's like, this is a bad analogy because it's not as accessible. Hi Carpet. Now there's someone who will understand my reference. I was gonna say DL6, if they kept like bringing it up as like this big looming thing in every Ace Attorney game, would just be the Enchantress to Shovel Knight, because like the end of the first game that they made, she gets defeated, but then they had the luxury of being like, okay, well all the other games are like prequels in Treasure Trove, so she's still allowed to be the main threat.
Yeah.
And then they made Pocket Dungeon, and then she was still there at the same time as Shield Knight.
Yeah, the timeline has been weird.
Yeah, and then everyone was like, wait, is this also like a midquel? Or like, what's going on here? And
what's the logistics?
They just never answered as far as I know. We have no idea when it takes place on the... I think it takes place during Shovel of Hope, which makes me angry.
Oh, damn.
It's just, it's funny because if you had told me this like 2 years ago, I would have been fine with that. You know what I mean? Because no, 3 years ago. Oh god, how long have I liked Shovel Knight? If you had told me that in 2019, I would have been totally fine with it. Because I was convinced that the Order of No Quarter lasted for like years, and there was like this big thing that was like terrorizing the entire kingdom. And then like someone did the math. I think it was Cammy who did the math, and like it lasted for like 2 weeks tops.
Oh my god.
And at the time I was really upset about it, but then I realized that it's way funnier that way.
Yeah.
So I was like, I like this canon and I want it to stay that way. And then they keep inserting stories like in the middle of Shovel of Hope, and it makes me upset, partially because of that, and then also because I feel like it kind of undermines Shovel Knight's whole like character arc that he's supposed to go, because it's like, okay, he's going on his adventure, but he keeps going on like other adventures in the middle of his first adventure.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's just like, I just want to see my wife again. My god. And like, because they really fucked themselves, because they created like a main girl who's like Shield Knight. Okay, that's his partner, and they're besties and or perhaps lovers, but they don't really tell you, and they do adventures together, and it's great. But you can't have her as long as you want to have a recurring main villain.
Yeah.
So
good
they
point.
kind of screwed themselves with that, which is why in Showdown and Pocket Dungeon we have them just existing in the same space, and like they're just like, don't question it, please. They did give an explanation for Showdown, which was like, okay, then it's like in a mirror realm, so it's like their souls are different from their bodies or some shit. It's some contrived explanation, but there is an explanation. Whereas like Pocket Dungeon, we have no reason for why they're existing in the same space, as to like except for like maybe it's the similar thing, but yeah. Which is why Carpet says that Enchantress is cool, but makes Pocket Dungeon's story worse, because she doesn't need to be there. she literally does not need to be there. The story could be almost exactly the same.
No right.
So you're right, and I it makes me sad, because I know we've been talking about Shovel Knight, and I'll shut up after this. I wanted to believe that, because there's so much like symbolism or like imagery or whatever the word is of the Enchantress in the footage that we have existing of Shovel Knight Dig, and my like theory or notion that I got from it was like, okay, this is a sequel and it takes place after Shovel of Hope and after the Enchantress is gone, because I assume that Shield Knight's going to be there and she's maybe going to be playable or something, I don't know. But the idea was like, okay, these guys, because there's so much Enchantress stuff like in their like boss arenas, that it's like, okay, maybe they're like trying to bring her back or something, you know what I mean? Like some cool plot like that, because that would be like, okay, because the premise of the game is like, he just, Drill Knight shows up and steals Shovel Knight's shit, and then he tries to go get it. So it'd be cool for him to like stumble upon this like bigger plot that they have, you know what I mean, where it like directly involves him too, because he knows her. Oh, okay, Shield Knight was a teaser for Shovel Knight Dig. Exactly. So like we know she's gonna be in it, and my god, if they make it another, it takes place in the middle of Shovel of Hope, and the Enchantress is there for no reason other than she needs to be our Bowser, then I'm going to have a conniption fit.
Oh,
and you can clip this and you can show it to Yacht Club. I don't care. This is I'm begging them to do anything else. You don't need to make her the one villain. Okay. That is all. That is the end of my TED Talk.
All right.
I like watched someone actively leave chat for me talking about Shovel Knight too much. So let's play Ace Attorney now. Where is Ace Attorney? Here it is. Do people mainly call it Ace Attorney, or do they mainly call it Phoenix Wright? I feel
I
like
think they call it Ace Attorney.
Yeah, because it was like, I don't like... Phoenix Wright is like the series. Because it's like, oh, the first game's Ace Attorney, and the second one's like... I forget what the second one, if this is the second one or the third one, but one of them's called like Phoenix Wright Justice for All or something like that.
Okay,
It might be Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All, actually. But I digress. They all have their own subtitles, is what I mean.
Yeah.
But I love the acronym for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney because it's PWAT.
What?
PWAT. Alright, let me stream to you. And we're all Gucci.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless there's someone in the audience who isn't Gucci. You know who you are.
You know who you are, you fucking nasty.
Nasty. You stupid, silly little Gucci-less buffoon.
You Gucci-less buffoon, how dare you? A3 investigation. Let's go. Wait, hold on, before we start, is there... Hold on. How do I J title screen? Yes. Can I, like, go to the chapter select so I can see the, I guess not. I was gonna say I wanted to see the cover art in game again.
Oh,
with
yeah.
really dramatic Edgeworth.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh god, I gotta voice Maya again. It's not even a hard voice, I just hate doing it for some reason. So whatever. Anyway, what was Mr. Edgeworth talking about? About what? What do you mean? I don't remember. Oh yeah, that.
A memory of a crime that I committed. A memory of murder.
Do you really think Mr. Edgeworth killed? I don't believe it. Not Edgeworth. Some painful memory has been troubling him recently, but he'd never take someone's life. Never. Nick. Oh. Yo, how's everyone doing? What do you think of my performance today? I had him swooning in the aisles, huh, Maya? Swooning? Me? Oh, yes, I do remember feeling faint. Right on. Tell me the truth. It was like love at first sight, right? Right, Nick? Huh? Me? Well, maybe my heart skipped a beat or two. I think you can do better than that. Come on, I saved Wedgeworth in there, dude. Edgy. You guys should be bowing before me. Yeah, bow before your hero. Okay. Alright. Larry, you really helped out in the trial today. You did. If you weren't there, Larry, I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth would have been found guilty. Ha 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 ha. Oh boy. But seriously, Nick. That bow shop caretaker guy is pretty suspicious. Oh yeah, he ran away at the end of the last trial.
Yeah.
But Edgy ain't off the hook yet. Way to spoil the mood, Larry. Hey, I'm just a guy sitting in the audience, you know? Except for that time when I was a witness. But, you know, Maya's 17. I think she gets older as the games go on, but in this game she's 17. But from where I was sitting, Edgy seemed pretty edgy. I mean, can you really know he's telling the truth about that night? What position does he have his arms in? Because it's like it's not like a big enough angle for him to have them on his hips.
No.
But it's also it's also like too sharp of an angle to be like tucked into his pockets, unless they're like his jacket pockets, maybe.
Okay.
I was gonna say like his pants pockets are like lower than where his arms would be. He's doing the I had to do it to him pose. Nick? I don't know. But what I do know is I'm gonna believe in you too until the end. Anthony. That's two. Edgeworth and who else? You mean me, right? Nah, he means me, right, Nick? Yeah, you, Larry. Not me? But why you, Larry? Huh? Actually, yeah, why me, Nick? Enough with the silent treatment. Nick, why do you trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? I mean, he's changed recently, true. But when we first met him, he was kind of a jerk, don't you think? You didn't know him back then. Back when he wanted to become a defense attorney. Wait, was that when you two were classmates? Yes, in grade school. They saved me, Miles, and Larry. They saved me and I'll never forget it. That's why I became a defense attorney, you know. What? Hey, Larry, what's he talking about? Huh? Sorry, I kind of forgot. Okay, Nick, out with it. I'm gonna hear this story today, and that's final. Okay. It's kind of a long story, so hang in there. It was the very end of 3rd grade. I was on trial, a class trial. A class trial? For what? Murder? Oh. You remember, Larry. Spring, end of 3rd grade? A kid in our class got his lunch money stolen. Lunch money? Our school was really small. Every month, kids would bring in an envelope with money for lunch from home. I tripped over that a little bit because I said envelope, and I was like, should I say envelope?
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
But that's just like, there's no correct way to say it. That's just like an accent thing, right?
I don't think there's a correct way now.
Yeah. Huh, I see. Anyway, this kid's envelope disappeared, with $38 still inside. Oh, yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember that. I can see why you'd forget, though. You were out of school that day. Anyway, the envelope had been stolen during PE class. I was coming down with a cold. So I skipped PE that day. Oh, I'm rubbing my eye. I was the only one not in class. So, they thought you did it? Yeah, the kids in class said that I should be put on trial. Which is, like, you're in 3rd grade? Which is...
Yeah.
really, like, strange for 3rd graders? Hi, Kitty Cats. It actually is envelope. Great to know. I will say that like that for the rest of the stream. You've brought this upon yourself. So next day we had a classroom trial with me as the defendant. I didn't do it. Guilty. He did it. It was you, thief. Give the money back. You're such a meanie. No one playing with him. You can't hide the truth. Tell us the truth. We're not gonna play with you anymore, and you can't borrow my eraser. Did you rob the bank the other day? Phoenix, you know, you shouldn't steal people's money. It's not right. I want to, just for a second, I want to say it's really cool that, at least as far as I know, it's not that, like, Phoenix is a nickname that he got, and like, Nick is just his actual name, but, like, people call him Phoenix because it's cooler. I think his actual name is Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then people just call him Nick to be cool. Wright's backstory is so funny considering everything he goes through. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, that's like later game stuff, I think, but he gets into some crazy shit, so...
It's like, hey, you can call me Ray, but on the down low, my full name is Rage.
The American justice system.
Yeah, thank you.
In the end, even the teacher thought I'd done it. Go over and apologize, Phoenix. They didn't draw a background. I didn't know what was happening. I was so sad, I couldn't stop crying. What is on his shirt? What the hell's going on? Is that like a robot dog or an octopus?
It's like a graphic tee of some cartoon of sorts.
Yeah, this was very strange. Everyone was staring at me like I'd done it. I tried to apologize. I went to the boy whose money had been stolen was sitting, but I couldn't see him because the light was way too bright.
Yeah.
That's when it happened. He shouldn't have to apologize. Is that you?
I'll do, like, this baby Edgeworth.
Yeah.
The only thing that belongs in a trial is evidence! Anything else has no place! You should all be ashamed, amateurs!
Oh my god. Miles.
It wasn't you who stole my money, was it?
No.
Then you shouldn't apologize! Everyone's been shouting you did it, but no one has any proof!
I mean, there's like deductive reasoning that he was the only one that could have done it.
Yeah. That is why, Your Honor, this boy is innocent!
Your Honor. But Miles, it was your money that was stolen. Yeah, he did it. He's the one. We don't need proof. Make him say he's sorry.
Why don't you all... Oh, what?
I was gonna say, is that you or me?
We'll find out.
I think it's you.
Why don't you all...
Oh, it's Larry!
Oh, damn it.
This is always how it is. Everybody ganging up and picking on one person. Just think how he feels. He said he didn't do it, so he didn't do it. Very well. I will replace the money myself. This class trial is over. No time for the execution.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
You could tell me that that's just adult Miles in a different suit and I.
Thank you, Kibby Cats, for the bits. Very cool of you. After that, the three of us are the best of friends. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea either. I mean, I forgot. That's when I learned what it meant to be alone. Totally alone without a friend in the world. You did a good thing, Larry. Yeah, well, I was just lucky that I took the day off from school. If I'd been there, they would have thought I'd done it. So, I took it kind of personally, see? When something smells, it's usually the butts. Anyway, Edgeworth and I talked after that class trial. That's when I heard his father was a defense attorney. I remember his eyes would shine when he talked about his father.
I'm gonna become a defense attorney just like my father. A famous defense attorney.
With his little bow tie, fucking scamp. And a few months later, he suddenly transferred to another school. The DL6 incident. Right. I'm not sure, but the transfer probably had to do with his father's death. That's so sad. It was several years later when I heard Edgeworth's name again. There was an article about him in the newspaper. The headline was something like, "Dark Suspicions of a Demon Attorney." So it's really... fabricating evidence, manipulating testimonies, covering up facts. The article said he'd do anything to get a guilty verdict. Anything. But why? What happened? I mean, that's not the Edgy I used to know at all. That's what I thought too. I tried to get in touch with him, I don't know how many times. He never replied. I guess he didn't want to see his old friends. I couldn't just drop it though. I wanted to meet him to learn why he had become who he became. That's when I decided. Wait, you don't mean... That's why? That's why you became a defense attorney? To meet Edgeworth? If I was a defense attorney, I knew he'd have to meet me whether he wanted to or not. In court.
Wow.
Edgeworth believed in me and I believe in him. He's in pain and no one's on his side. I'm the only one who knows the real Edgeworth. I'm the only one who can help him. Because Larry forgot. So
yeah.
So I guess he's not his friend anymore. Whoa, Nick. So is that why you helped me out for free? Yes. I helped you because I believed in you. Except I don't remember saying I'd do it for free. Aw, Nick! We have to save Mr. Edgeworth if it's the last thing we do, okay? That's a little dramatic, but okay.
Yeah.
Right, it very well may be. First, there's that rental boat shop caretaker. We need to find out who or what he is. I'd settle for who. I guess I can clean out some of this evidence I no longer need. He just, like, opens his bag and just goes, and shakes it around, and all this stuff comes out. Okay,
not even over a trash can or anything.
Yeah. I'm not looking at my brain right now, so I just click the thing at random. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not here. Maybe I should look at my brain.
Yeah.
Wait, Gumshoe won't be coming back today? Oh, really?
What?
He said there was some guy he had to arrest by tomorrow. Oh, the boat shop caretakers.
Yeah.
He shouted something about catching him if it's the last thing I do, pal. Good luck, Gumshoe. Alright, so no Gumshoe today.
No gumshoe today,
Very
damn.
sadly. Let's go over to Gourd Lake. Oh, Gumshoe
Hey,
today.
pal. Long time no see.
Oh, Detective Gumshoe.
Close one today, eh? I got so worked up I snapped my tie in half.
Sorry about that.
No problem, pal. Thanks to you, we now know who really did it.
You mean the boat shop caretaker?
Look, I'll make you a promise. I'll have that scoundrel in my custody by trial time tomorrow. Come what may. It's my duty to you as a police officer. Now I'm off to catch me a criminal.
Detective Gumshoe sure is active today.
Oh, one more thing.
Neek! Let's see.
No one can go into the woods today.
The woods? Where Lotta was camping?
The woods are off limits to camping, and apparently the park ranger found out. He got pretty mad. No one can go in for a while.
I guess Lotta's in a lot of trouble.
Anyway, I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Wait, you didn't think that was funny? He's like, nope. Walks
Lot of
away.
trouble, I don't get it.
I don't get it. It's really good. Huh? The steel eyesore is missing. Eyesore? Looks like the hot dog stand is closed too. Well, yeah, because Larry's in our office. I guess Larry's too busy worrying about Mr. Edgeworth to show up for work. Alright. That old caretaker got away. Yep. I never imagined he might be the real murderer. Oh, I know who this is. It's Grossberg.
Grossberg?
Yeah, because he was clearing his throat.
Which one was Grossberg?
The fat lawyer dude. The orange
Oh,
suit,
that's me.
mustache. Yeah.
Ahem.
I know that clearing of the throat everywhere. Anywhere.
Hello. What might you... Pro
Oh, you're cutting out.
the youth. Like the scent of fresh lemon, you see.
Mr. Grossberg, this is no time for idle reminiscing. Mr. Edgeworth's trial ends tomorrow.
That is true, yes. But from what I saw of today's trial, Edgeworth should be fine, right?
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Ho ho, what do you mean by that?
Well, I'm not sure.
Hmm? If you find anything out, come by my office at once.
Just imagining that happening in real life, like he's just speaking and cutting off.
Oh. I may be able to offer you some assistance.
Thank you. Bye. What do you think Mr. Grossberg was doing here anyway? Who knows? We find out he did it.
Oh my god.
That would be absolutely crazy. Hi, Polly. Nobody's home. That's you.
Oh.
Hello? Hello? What?
Hey, it's Polly. I wonder where your owner's gone, Polly.
Hello? Hello? What?
I can't believe he'd run off and leave his poor parrot to fend for herself. Alright, you don't have to do it a third time.
Yeah.
Why is his name Grossberg? He seemed fine. Is the joke just that he's fat and that's gross? No, I think it's because he was like kind of working with Red White before. Like he was kind of like a known for his filthy business practices.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I should take care of Polly, Nick. You probably shouldn't just kidnap her. The police know about her anyway. I'm sure they'll do something. Well, okay. Sorry, Polly. He says I can't take you. Great, now the bird's gonna hate me. Can you say fuck you in Polly's voice?
Fuck you! Fuck you! What?
That's really good. That reminds me, Nick. Polly here knows the number to the safe, right? Yeah, that's right. Polly, what's the number to the safe?
1228. What?
Let's open it, Nick. Come on. I'm sure there isn't any money in there. Aw. But hey,
Could be evidence.
yeah, he keeps it locked, right? So there must be something of value in there. I'm not so sure. Yeah, you just keep a TV that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, let's see what's in there. I guess there might be a clue or two. The only thing in here is a letter. A letter? Aw, boring.
Well, hold on.
There's no name or signature on this thing. It's handwritten in very precise, clear letters. Hold on, I'm reading it.
The letter?
Yeah, give me a second. Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth. Edgeworth!
Yeah.
Nick! Why would Mr. Edgeworth's name be on here? How should I know? I'm gonna read the whole thing. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth. It also says, thank you for the bits, Kitty Cat.
Maya excited to commit illegalities.
That's what it says. It says, thank you for the bits.
Yeah.
Oh, you won 5. I don't know why me saying that reminded me of something, but I don't remember what it was. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I'm imagining like a rich person dictating someone that's writing a letter is like, write down, this is your chance to get a defense amount. Oh, thank you for the bits, Kitty Cat. And then they write that in.
It also says this is your last chance. Now's the time to get revenge on the 2 men who ruined your life. Hold on, I'm reading. I read really slow, just give me a minute. The rest of the letter goes out to describe the murder plot in detail. How to kill Robert Hammond and frame Edgeworth. Calling Edgeworth out to the lake, getting on the boat, firing twice. This is exactly what I figured out today in court. It's all here in perfect detail. Kibby Cats wrote this letter.
Yeah.
What do you think it means, Nick? I don't know, but it looks like these are instructions for that caretaker. When he killed Robert Hammond and called out Edgeworth, he was following instructions. But who could have written that letter? So this is proof that he did it. But he wasn't, like, behind it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
There's another culprit that we need to find now.
Damn. Okay.
And what does it mean to get revenge on Miles Edgeworth? Look, I don't know, okay? Jesus, give me a fucking break. God, Maya. But one thing's for certain. This letter is an amazing clue. Sorry, that goes hard.
It does.
Slapper. Now we are going to say hi to Edgeworth.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he's doing great.
Yeah.
You look as grim as always.
Hmm.
Mr. Edgeworth, I heard the story about the class trial.
Last trial? What do you mean?
Have you been playing Danganronpa? What? No! You don't remember?
No, I don't.
Your lunch money was stolen, wasn't it? In 3rd grade.
Lunch money? Oh, right. Yes, I seem to remember something like that.
Nick, I think you're the only one who really remembers. Well, it probably only really mattered to me anyway. Mr. Edgeworth, didn't you know? That trial was the reason Nick became a defense attorney.
Ridiculous.
I was gonna make a joke like, that's stupid. Gee, thanks.
That said, it does sound like the kind of thing you'd do. You haven't changed a bit, have you, right? So simple
Sorry.
to a fault. Oh, I don't remember what was after that.
I think that's the gist of what he said.
Yeah.
Wash Danganronpa out of your mouth. Make me! I like that game. I think it's fun. And I played it before I played this. Well, I streamed it before I streamed this one. I played this first. But I like both games.
Yeah. Both
well,
nice.
maybe, yeah, but I think you changed too much, Edgeworth.
Perhaps.
Sorry, I'm getting a lot of, like... I tweeted, like, a normal thing a couple days ago about, like, recommendations for art stuff. And, like, 4 people that don't follow me, have nothing to do with me at all, liked it today. And,
Oh. Bots.
yeah. Like, they all look like fairly legit accounts. Like, they all have, like, a decent amount of followers. But one of them does NFT art, which is gross. One of them has, like... One of them has, like... Whoa!
Well?
E2M Yearly, thank you for rating me. And thank you for following. Very cool of you. Hello.
Hello.
I think this one person might be legit, but they just have a weird account. It looks like bot looking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mitz v. Bartz, for following. And one person replied, let me get this tangent out of the way really quick. One person replied, can I get a chance to assist you with that? And I was like, yeah, if you have any recommendations, let me know, because I'm looking for, like, an iPad to draw on. And they responded, I am an artist, and I recommend myself. And I was like, I'm not looking for a commission. I'm not, and then they didn't respond after that.
Oh.
Kitty Cats, thank you for the bits. That's a very good number. Anyway, let's continue with Ace Attorneying. Sorry if you're new to Ace Attorney, by the way. This is the last trial in the game.
Yeah. Whoops.
Whoops. And we're kind of nearing the end, so sorry if you're lost.
Yeah.
Do you want to do, like, a quick recap? How do we recap this trial? Jesus, so much has happened. Yeah, spoilers. I just finished the Steel Samurai. I don't like that my boy is in jail now. Oh boy. Sure hope it's not a blind playthrough yet. I should probably go. I don't want to get spoiled. That's fair. But thank you for being here for the brief time that you were.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Edgeworth, see this letter? This came out of the safe in the shack where that boat rental caretaker lives. I'll come back and watch for sure. Thank you. After this stream, we'll probably do other games after this, so you're welcome to join for any of those that won't horribly spoil you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Revenge on me.
I have to poop!
I
Who is that old guy anyway?
don't know.
Could he be an innocent defendant you got cleared guilty or something?
Nice, right. But I don't remember that old man. Not at all.
So, he was following this letter then?
Which means there's someone else behind it. Now is the time to get revenge on the 2 men who ruined your life. 2 men? Meaning myself and Robert Hammond?
Hi, Finn. A gamer. It also says, this is your last chance. Last chance? Wait, maybe he's talking about the statute of limitations on the DL6 incident.
Wait, that old man.
What is it? Do you know who he is?
Yogi. Could he be Yogi?
Like the bear?
No, the suspect in the DL6 incident. The one who was found innocent.
She's like, hold on, I need to remember the kid. Oh my god!
It all makes sense now.
I finally put it together, oh my god! Andrew's Why did you become a prosecutor anyway? You used to look up to your dad. You said you wanted to be a defense attorney, right?
I couldn't let myself deny reality like you.
What do you mean?
My father was taken from me, and you want me to defend criminals? I'm sorry, right, but I'm not that good of a person.
One suspect was apprehended of your father's murder, right?
Yes, a man trapped in the elevator with my father. His name was Yanni Yogi. He had to be the shooter, and look at it. Yet, he was found innocent. The defense attorney got him off the hook.
That would be Robert Hammond.
On that day, 15 years ago, the three of us were trapped in that elevator for 5 hours.
I thought it was 4, but okay.
After 6 hours, we were rescued. We all
After
suffered.
24 hours.
We all suffered oxygen deprivation after being in there for 7 hours. I had lost all memory of the murder.
After 8
After
grueling
all,
hours.
after 8 hours.
Lost your memory after 9 hours.
Yes. After 10 hours. Even now, I can't recall what happened in that elevator.
Because I was in there for 11 hours.
But all I can say for certain is that I was in there for exactly 12 hours. That was the crux of Yogi's attorney's argument in court. He claimed that Yanni Yogi had not been sound of mind due to the oxygen deprivation after 13 hours. Yogi was released due to lack of evidence. Innocent.
After 14 hours.
That's when I changed my mind. I started to hate defense attorneys.
In just 15 short hours.
And then someone was like, "Hey, the file says 4 hours." I know how long it was.
I was there, wasn't I? For 16 full hours. It's not even that funny.
Elevators have vents, precisely for this fucking reason, and also for maintenance. Edgeworth, I think you just got tired and fell asleep.
Thank you, Kimmy Cats, for the bits. Edgeworth was asleep for 17 hours. What's your relationship with Von Karma?
He's my teacher, and a man who deserves respect.
No, our teacher was a woman. Don't you remember? We just saw a whole flashback about that.
I learned everything I know of courtroom techniques from him.
So, he's like my sister was to you, Nick.
He is a perfectionist in all things. In court, in his personal life, in the bedroom, he is obsessed with doing everything
I would
perfectly.
know. Perfectly, huh?
In all the cases he has taken on, none were left unsolved. And not one suspect was declared innocent, ever.
But that's...
I know.
Carver liked that one.
It's possible some of the suspects were indeed innocent. However, it is impossible for us to accurately determine that in every case. All Von Karma does is his job, to find the suspect guilty perfectly. In any case...
No, I was saying that in, like, as Edgeworth. I wasn't saying that I... No.
Nigh well impossible to find a weakness in him. Should a weakness appear, he would do everything in his power to make it go away.
Edgeworth? What you're saying is true. You're headed for a guilty sentence tomorrow. He's right. Now's no time to praise the enemy, Mr. Edgeworth.
Strange situation in which I find myself, I'll admit.
Miss me parts. Thank you for coming. The Geezy is really good. Is that like a thing you just came up with, or is that what the kids are saying now? Because it's maybe the funniest thing I've heard all day. Alright, tell me about Yanni Yogi.
Yanni Yogi was a court bailiff at the time. It's bailiff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. I for a second I thought it might have been bailiff, but I don't know.
Yep.
We just happened to be in that elevator together 15 hours. I mean, 15 years ago.
15 hours ago. No, wait, for 15 hours. 15 years ago. For 4 hours. It was 4 hours. I lied to you,
Yeah.
right? I was doing something called pulling your leg, and Nick is just like, I think you're supposed to like kind of be in on that to, like, you're supposed to understand that you're joking for it to be pulling your leg, and he's like, nope, I
Not my
did it
fault that you were
perfectly.
too stupid to get the joke.
That's like those people who like, they're like, oh, I have a dark sense of humor, and they just say that
Yeah.
to like get away with saying mean stuff to people.
Yeah.
But in Edward's case, he's just like lying about really insignificant stuff.
Yeah.
He's just like, I went to the doctor's yesterday, and you're like, oh yeah, how'd that go for you? And he's like, I was lying. And that was a joke. And you're like, I don't think that's how that works. And he's like, you just don't understand my humor. He walks away. The quake was incredibly strong. That's you, sorry.
Excuse me. The click was incredibly strong. Before I knew it, everything was dark. You were there for so long, it felt like forever. The air thinned, and the darkness closed in on us in that little box. We became unsettled. Who is this?
I think that's a Yogi.
Help! I can't breathe!
You want me
Yeah.
to be one guy? Alright, quiet.
Yeah.
I said quiet. You're not making this any easier.
I want to get out! Help! Get us out!
Don't shout. You'll just use up more oxygen, he shouted.
That's all I remember. When I came to, I was in a hospital bed, staring up at the ceiling.
You know, my mom has a fear of elevators.
Really?
Because she's worried she'll get into this exact situation.
Yeah.
Which she kind of did one time. Not like as dramatic as this, obviously. One time she was in an elevator with like her sister and I think someone else, and they were like, they were taking it up like just one floor or something like that, and the elevator stopped in between floors, and they were like, well, this is a predicament, and then the doors opened in between the floors.
Oh,
And she was
being
like,
John
"Oh my
Malkovich
God!"
style.
And that like traumatized her.
My God.
Which like it would also scare me, so I understand, but
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I would be scared, but I would kind of be like, awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That'd be a story to tell.
Yeah.
That's what I would think. It's like, oh, that'd be a fun story to tell.
Exactly. That's how I felt about it, because it's like not that I want it to happen to me,
No.
but it's one of those things where it's like if it did happen to me, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
feel bad about it. I would just be like, cool, I have a story to tell later.
Exactly, yeah. In court, Yanni Yogi's mental condition was called into question. They claimed the oxygen deprivation and stress had caused temporary insanity. In the end, the claim passed the court, and Yogi was found innocent.
It's not how that works.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because I'm thinking about like how legally, to be considered like legally insane in a court of law, if you did like a crime, it has to be proven that you didn't know that, like at least in the case of a murder, you have to
Yeah.
know that you have to not be able to tell that murder is bad. Like
Yeah.
you can't show any signs of like trying to cover your tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And there have been a lot of
Yeah,
cases that
yeah.
I've seen where like if they had literally just not covered up the evidence, then they probably would have gotten away with being innocent by reason of insanity. But it was
Yeah.
literally just like they cleaned up the crime scene afterwards, so like they're totally normal, and they get tried as like a normal dude.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even if I was insane, and I wouldn't want blood all over my floor.
You're like, man, there's a mess in here. I should do something about this.
And you're like, who put this blood here?
Who got this blood all over my floor? Was that you? And you like start talking to the corpse. Was that you, kid? Like,
Was
I'm
that
trying to
you?
run a tight ship around here, and here you are getting your blood all over my kitchen tiles. You know these were expensive. This is like it's on my living room floor. That's like mahogany tile right there. That's not how that works. Like it's wood. It's gorgeous mahogany wood, and that costs so much money, and you're just gonna get your blood all over it. And frankly, I think that's inconsiderate.
On the Persian carpet,
On
my
the
family
Persian
heirloom.
That is. tell them what you told me about why Persian carpets are good as family heirlooms.
Because you can't really steal them.
'Cause
It's impossible to steal because they got couches on them. Like how would you steal a carpet with like you'd have to move the couch silently?
it's
It's
just
a whole
far
ordeal.
Too big.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just too big to steal, which I think is the best thing. I think, like, I don't have a family heirloom, but if I made one, I would want it to be like a huge piece of furniture.
Just inconvenient.
Exactly, just really inconvenient to steal or move in general.
Yeah, the Persian carpet that we have that is like the main family heirloom that gets passed down between like thousands of years of generations or whatever. It is literally so big that it's gotten to the point where its value has decreased because of its size.
I really like that.
We have a smaller one that's worth more.
I'm trying to like we don't really like have like heirlooms in the same way. Like we have like things in our house that like belonged to an older member of the family that like probably is dead by now. So it's got like that kind of vibe to it, but it's not like this has been in our family for centuries, you know, and one day it will be yours. Like the closest thing closest thing we have to that is the apartment that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah, the apartment would count, I think.
Yes, well, that's the hardest thing to steal of all.
You can't steal that.
I mean, unless you steal the lease.
Oh yeah.
And like forge like the lease that has your signature on it.
But is it really the same apartment without that, the price? Because then the price would change.
But if you sign the lease over to yourself?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh,
because that was like part of the sweetness of the idea of like if I took over the apartment, the rent would still be the same. Because I mean, at least in the case of like if it's still in the family, I guess.
Okay, never mind.
For those that have no idea what we're talking about, my family has lived in the same apartment for like decades. Like this building's almost 100 years old, and that's not an exaggeration. It's like 97 years old.
Yeah.
And like my ancestors have lived here basically
if the building was a person, it'd be old enough to legally do LSD.
Like when we were on vacation, we went to this vacation home for super rich people that lived in the 30s. And it was cool to look at, but there was like a section where they were like, here's some of the furniture they had, and it was literally furniture, like it was like the cabinets that we had in my house. My dad was like, this is the sink we used to have before we renovated it like 5 years ago. I was like, boy, we really are from the 30s, huh?
Yeah.
So, so just the fact that like it's been in the family basically for that long, and just like when one family member moves out or like retires and goes to their Florida home or dies or whatever, it just gets passed on to the next family member. Like, and it's not like a tradition thing; it just keeps happening, just accidentally. and I may be next in line, but probably not. And if I am, it's not for a while. So,
Yeah.
but
Okay. Yeah.
the rent is super cheap.
Yeah, that's the
So,
thing.
like literally cheaper than like single rooms, most single rooms that I've seen online while house hunting. So yeah. Anyway, now that I've flexed that, even though the apartment is kind of shitty. Anyway, isn't that strange? This letter tells him to get revenge on Edgeworth. Why would he want to take revenge on you? Let's see.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something that's been troubling me these last few days. I didn't know whether I should tell you.
You mean the nightmare? You don't need to flash back to it.
It's a nightmare I've had. A memory of a crime that I committed.
A crime you committed.
A memory of a murder. I think the time has come to tell all. For the last 15 years, I've had the same dream almost every night. I wake up in a fearful sweat every time.
Have you tried melatonin?
Melatonin can actually, not enhance nightmares, but it can give you more nightmares.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. It's a dream about my father's killing in the dark.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know.
It's a weird, no, like, why did you phrase it that way, I guess?
Yeah.
It's a weird way of saying it. Anyway.
Flashback to this again.
Yeah.
Help! I can't breathe!
Quiet! I said quiet. You're not making this any easier.
I want to get help! Help! Get us out!
Don't shout. You'll use up more oxygen, he shouted.
The whole 9 yards. It's the same.
Hold on, yards.
I can't breathe! You're using up all my air!
What?
Stop breathing my air! I'll stop you!
Ah, what? What are you...
Stop breathing my air!
This is like that episode of SpongeBob. Do you know where I'm going with this? Where they're like living off the grid or whatever, and then they both brought like one chocolate bar, and then Patrick eats his and then thinks that SpongeBob's chocolate bar is his, and he's like, "What the fuck? You're eating mine?" And he's like, "It's literally not mine, or it's literally not yours. You ate yours 15 minutes ago."
No, don't.
Yeah. That's what this is, but with oxygen.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do your
Oh, father!
No! Not like this!
He's attacking father! And then I see the pistol lying by my feet.
Man, you went through a great puberty.
I don't know if it was evidence from that day in court or the bailiffs. In a daze, I pick up the pistol.
Just like, oh.
Get away!
Anyone
away
wanna
from
point
my
out how
father.
the elevator has windows that they could break to just get air.
That's
It
true.
is
Did that
just
register?
built without a vent for no reason.
Oh.
That's true. Thank you, Kibby Cats, for pointing that out and also for the bits. I think they showed at one point that the window had been, like, broken. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
And with that scream, I wake. It's a bone-chilling scream. A scream that has rung in my ears for the past 15 years.
Thanks, Dr. Seuss. She's like, that rhymed. But that's just a dream, right?
That thought is the only thing that has kept me sane for the last 15 years. But what if I'm wrong? What if it's real? They say that sometimes people shut out memories in self-defense. Maybe it was I who killed my father.
What?
If you think about it that way, this letter makes sense. Get your revenge on Miles Edgeworth. Think about it. Yogi was really innocent. That's why he wanted revenge against me.
Wait, Edgeworth, you mean...
It was me. I was the true criminal of DL6. I shot my father.
This is bad. This is pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do, Nick? What can we do? I don't know. I don't think there's anything we can do. Like it or not. If there's someone else who knows a lot about the DL6 incident, maybe. There is, Nick! There's someone else who knows about DL6! Grossberg.
Yeah.
Bye. Mr. Grossberg.
Ah, hello there. What's wrong? You look troubled.
No kidding! I can't believe you're not!
My. Just calm down and tell me what happened. What's happened, hmm?
It's Mr. Edgeworth. He... And then we told him everything.
I see. So, Edgeworth dreamt he shot his own father.
It's only a dream. Only a dream.
I wonder,
What?
if that's the case, then why do you two look so troubled, hmm?
Well...
Although, consider this. Yogi quite certainly holds a deep grudge against Miles Edgeworth. So deep, he'd want to frame him for murder. This leads me to surmise that Mr. Edgeworth's dream was not a dream. It was real. As you imagined. Miles Edgeworth threw the pistol to save his father.
This is a very silly picture.
No!
If you, like, get rid of the tears in his eyes, it looks like he's, like, throwing a Pokeball, but the Pokemon is a gun.
Go, gun! The pistol fired, and the deed was done.
No! I don't believe it.
Though he was suspected of murder, and his career as a bailiff was irrevocably wrecked. Thus he sought revenge on Miles Edgeworth. This was his last chance, of course, with the statute of limitations so close.
What do you know about Edgeworth's father?
He was a defense attorney without appeal. It sounds trite, but it's true. Well, we may have had one beer now that I think about it. Your mentor, Mia Fey.
My sister?
Gregory Edgeworth was very disapproving of Mr. Von Karma's techniques.
That's no surprise.
Von Karma is an extreme man. Forged testimonies and evidence are nothing to him. The result, he has a perfect win record in court. To beat him, Gregory Edgeworth tried to call his attention to his method.
And?
He lost. And died in despair, as it were.
I see.
When Gregory Edgeworth was killed, the police called on a spirit medium. That was your mother, Misty Fey.
I'm Gregory Edgeworth. I have been killed. I'm a ghost. And she's like, you don't need to talk like that. You can just talk normally. He's like, oh.
I've been waiting my whole life to do this.
Yeah, but I'm so excited. The one who shot me was the bailiff, Yanni Yogi. Woo! She's like, please stop, sir.
Yet, they couldn't pay attention to him because his voice was so annoying that they couldn't get any evidence. Yet Yogi was found innocent.
That's when my mother left us. Everyone called her a fraud.
That's right. Everyone thought she was, you see. Yet, now that I think about it, it seems the one who lied was Gregory Edgeworth's ghost. Gregory Edgeworth must have known who shot him.
I
I
don't
don't-
believe it. So you're saying he falsified his testimony, like to protect Edgeworth? That Edgeworth's dad lied to protect his son?
It's only a possibility, mind you. But a possibility nonetheless. Oh ho! So this is the letter. It does seem that Yogi was following this letter. When he killed Hammond... Oh,
Why
when he
kill
killed
Robert
Hammond.
Hammond?
Hammond was a skilled defense attorney. But he defended clients not for their sake, but for his own.
Huh? His own sake?
He never trusted his clients. That one. The only thing he trusted was his own ability.
But he got his client found innocent, so why should it matter?
Actually, my dear, it's quite different. He won that innocent verdict for no one but himself. Yogi was a free man, but socially, he was ruined.
Huh?
You'll understand soon enough. Wait!
What is it?
This letter. I've seen this handwriting somewhere before, a long time ago.
Would you remember it that long?
Whose handwriting was this? Do you have any idea who wrote this?
You wanna guess?
Oh.
I know who it is, but I want you to figure it out.
Well, I'm still, if I'm still going by my theory of that the old man is Yanni Yogi,
Yes.
then it has to be Von Karma.
Could it be Manfred Von Karma?
Von Karma? Why would he have something to do with this?
Well, I'm not sure.
Hmm? Von Karma, Von Karma. Wait! You were right, my boy!
By Jove, you've done it!
This is Von Karma's handwriting, I'm sure of it. I used to see it all the time on court reports.
What? But that means the one who told Mr. Yogi to kill was...
Correct. Manfred Von Karma himself.
What does this mean then? Why would Von Karma want to frame Edgeworth?
If it truly was Von Karma who wrote this letter, then he would know the truth. He would know that Miles Edgeworth hadn't accidentally killed his own father. He'll say as much tomorrow in court, I should think. He'll press the point until the court finds Miles Edgeworth guilty.
But he didn't... he didn't kill Robert Hammond. That's not what this case is about.
Yeah, exactly. But he'll bring that up and be like, first I'm going to prove that Miles Edgeworth did kill somebody, and that's why he is capable of killing someone else.
But how could Von Karma know about Mr. Edgeworth's past like that? Even Mr. Edgeworth thought it was just a nightmare.
That I do not know. Yet I do know that Von Karma is both persistent and a perfectionist.
I mean, he was his mentor, so like he might have told him about the nightmare.
He may be seeking to satisfy a grudge against Gregory Edgeworth by hurting his son.
What do you mean?
It was 15 years ago. Von Karma met Gregory Edgeworth in court, and Von Karma did win. But he didn't make it through the trial unscarred.
What happened in the trial between Edgeworth's dad and Von Karma?
Von Karma got the guilty verdict he wanted. He won the trial. But Gregory Edgeworth accused Von Karma of faulty evidence. And though he lost the trial, Mr. Edgeworth's accusation stood.
Faulty evidence.
It was the only penalty Von Karma had ever received in his career as a prosecutor. Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see.
Vacation.
Yes, an unusual event for the man. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken in his many years of prosecuting.
Really? He doesn't take vacations. Like, go to the sea, or to the mountains, or to a waterfall? It's really cyclical, you know, because that's what the case started with, and now we're bringing it up again, you know? It's like a mix of the thing, and Phoenix is like, stop trying to make it a theme, Maya. Jesus. Just hope he's never been to Europe. You have strange ideas about vacations, Maya.
In any
Never been
case,
to Disneyland! Oh my god!
that was the only time he took a vacation from work. I believe the penalty upset him quite a lot.
Odd. If he wanted to keep a perfect record so badly, why would he take such a long vacation? What do we do, Nick? Von Karma's gonna bring up Deal 6, you can bet on it. What if Mr. Edgeworth pleads guilty to Deal 6? I won't let him. I'll duct tape his mouth shut.
Yes, Mr. Wright. I'm sure that will go very well in court. I hate to say this, but even accidental murder is murder, you know.
Oh, it's manslaughter.
I believe there should be a different word for that, but no, but it's just murder.
Yeah. I know that. I just believe in Edgeworth's innocence. I can't believe he'd kill someone. But Nick, Mr. Edgeworth admits it himself. His father must have lied to protect him from beyond the grave. I don't care about all that. I don't believe in ghosts anyway. No offense, Maya. I know he's not guilty.
Mr. Wright, if you say so, I suppose I could go check again. The police files might hold something of interest.
Mr. Grossberg, thank you.
I can't promise anything, in fact. I think the chances of finding something are slim.
I understand. Police materials. Maybe we should go check out the police materials. It's the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't give me an option to go there from here, which is weird.
Get it together, game designers.
Yeah, get your shit together. Make a better game.
As we all know, the game designers can basically be God with their games, and everything relies on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the programmers or the artists or the game designers specifically. Anyway, there's hardly anyone here. Everyone must be out looking for the old guy, Yogi. Ah, it's you. I don't think Gumshoe will be coming back today. He's staying out late looking for someone. It's only like 4 p.m., but you know. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe is pounding the pavement for real. Never mind. We were wondering if we could change the records again. I love your disapproving sighs.
Yeah. They're completely involuntary, too. I want you to know that.
Well, now I can't just have anyone wandering around in there. But I guess Mr. Von Karma is in there now anyway. You can go in as long as he's there. Von Karma? Yes, he just arrived, actually. Von Karma's in the records room. Nick, let's hurry! Alright. Sure hope we don't wave some incriminating evidence in his face again like we did with Red White. That would be bad. Dusty as always. They were only here just yesterday. I'm sure they just haven't had time to clean. What's wrong, Nick? Nothing. I was just noticing that he isn't here. Von Karma.
Yeah, let's hold on.
Oh, there's another drawer. Huh? One of the drawers here is open. Someone must have been looking in it recently. Like Von Karma. Label says unsolved cases evidence. Unsolved cases. Nick! The file for DL6, it's completely empty. What? Oh, that's you.
Oh, Von Karma, what are you doing in here?
You're scary from the front. Oh, Karma!
You. How do you know my name?
We were in court earlier today.
Have we met?
What are you saying? We see each other every day, don't we? We're Miles Edgeworth's defense team.
Defense team? I beg your pardon, you see. I rarely remember defense attorneys. They're like bugs to me. Needless things to be crushed.
Jesus. I can see how this guy was Edgeworth's mentor. I hate looking at him.
Yeah.
It's like... He's like...
It's like his gender is neither male nor female, it is old.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like... Obviously, he has a lot of wrinkles going on, but he looks younger than he needs to be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just very strange art.
A young old person.
Mr. Edgeworth is your student, right?
A romanticist who still can't shred a veneer of that amateurism. Just like his father. Always second rate.
Mr. Von Karma.
His face got fucking G-R-E-E-B-L-E-D.
Thank you, kitty cats. You had next to grind with Mr. Gregory Edgeworth, didn't you?
Me? A grudge against a mere defense attorney? Why?
Because he dealt a blow to your otherwise perfect trial record? So you did. But what I don't get is, why did you take his son under your wing afterwards? Son of your most bitter rival.
That, my dear attorney, is none of your business.
I know, Greebles, don't worry.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be the last day of this trial. It's been a while since I've had a defense attorney last this long. Still, you will lose in the end.
Hell yeah! Oh, I almost killed it! I almost killed it!
What? Baby? Faction?
Sorry, there was a moth in my room.
Oh.
But it's dead now, don't worry.
You okay?
I thought it died, and then it fell on my computer screen, and then it flew away, and then I was like, nope, and then I clapped it again, and then it died.
Alright, cool. His guilt is 15 years ago, you mean? Still with me?
Oh,
Sorry.
Yeah.
you're quite the researcher. If you've done your homework so well, then certainly you must understand. You know what Miles Edgeworth will tell the court tomorrow.
We were right. Von Karma is going to bring up Deal 6 in court tomorrow. When he lowers his eyes a little bit like that, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
So you know how I said, I hope we don't wave incriminating evidence in front of his face? Because that'll be bad.
Yeah.
Guess what we have to do?
Really?
Yeah. Mr. Von Karma, have a look at this. This was you, wasn't it? You instructed Yanni Yogi to commit murder.
Yanni Yogi. How many years has it been since I've heard him called by that name?
Ratatouille. It's been years since anyone's called me that.
He's a fool. I told him to burn it after he read it.
So you admit it? You wrote Mr. Yogi this letter?
Yes, my dear defense attorney. Thank you for taking the trouble to bringing it to me. You've saved me from a lot of needless hassle.
What? Nick, what is that thing? Oh, that's a taser. A stun gun for self-defense, usually.
Indeed.
Oh man, he looks like a different character, and I'm trying to remember the name of the character.
The old man from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
No, because I've never watched that, but I remember the character. He looks like, I don't think he has a name. but he's like the businessman dude from Sound and Fury, that one Sturgill Simpson album that like got entirely animated, which is really cool, and it's on Netflix, and you should watch it if you haven't. It's like an hour, and it's worth your time.
Wow.
It's like if you combined that album specifically is like if you combined country and EDM. It's really cool. I showed you it once. I showed you one song from it once.
Yeah.
But there's a character in it that looks like this sprite specifically.
Yeah.
6,000 volts will course through your body.
Just 6,000.
600,000. My bad. Sorry, I just wanna prepare myself to. Okay, 600,000 volts. Am I being intimidating?
I've been really zapping this for a while.
Like a dog touching an electric fence.
600,000.
Yeah, I know. I said 6,000 and then I said 600,000. It's a whole thing. Don't worry. People don't die from it usually.
Why, like, these things aren't meant to be lethal in any regard.
No.
Now, give me that letter.
No! No!
Whoa, what are you?
He's just like mildly perturbed. Whoa, oh, hey. Nick, run! Oh my god. Maya got tased.
Damn.
Maya!
Out of my way.
Wow! This is why you don't show evidence to the criminal.
Yeah.
Ugh, he got us. Definitely haven't learned anything from this encounter.
Yeah.
The letter's gone, of course. And he took the DL6 evidence, all of it. Back to having no clues. Wait, Maya jumped first. Maya, is she okay? Maya! Maya, open your eyes. She's dead. Maya? The letter, did he take it? Huh? Oh, yeah. Are you okay? I couldn't stop him. I jumped as fast as I could, but one shot from that thing knocked me out cold. I'm useless. I'm no good as a lawyer or a medium. I can't even call my sister. Not even now when we near to the most. I wish I hadn't woken up at all. Jesus, Maya.
Wow.
The times I wish I'd never been born at all. Anyway, girl, there has to be some way I can help her. I better do something about her self-confidence first. Maya, she's holding something. What is that? A bullet? DL6 incident, evidence number 7, taken from the heart of Gregory Edgeworth. I remember. Von Karma was holding this and Maya jumped him. Ooh. I'll prove it to you, Maya. You're most definitely not useless. That was a weird burp, but...
Yeah.
I'll prove it to you in court tomorrow. To be continued.
Whoa.
I gotta pee.
It's
It's always
I'll
around
get
this
some water.
time. What?
Oh, are you gonna pee right now?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go get some water then.
Hell yeah. We'll be back in a minute, boys.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hey, we both came back pretty much at the same time.
Yeah. I was like just putting on my headphones as I heard you
Yeah.
say that.
Oh.
I acquired a new kind of snack.
Ooh.
I have no idea where my family got this. I think my dad got it from his job, his other job. Because they give like a lot of perks in the form of food. But like it's just like big cookies. You know, they have like those big ones that you see in like the mall sometimes, or like
Yeah.
McDonald's. But the one that they specifically got me was it says stuffed peanut butter Nutella. And it's like
What?
just from the picture on the box, it's like a chocolate chip cookie like that size. But instead of chocolate chips, it's got like Reese's Pieces. And then apparently it has Nutella inside it.
Huh.
Now here's the thing. I love chocolate chip cookies. I love Nutella. Because you guys, if you were here from my like earliest streams, you know of my Nutella and animal crackers addiction, which I've since quit cold turkey, but I can go back at any time.
Yeah.
And literally just one purchase away from
Yeah.
horribly indulging in my addiction again. It's so good, but it's so bad for you.
Yeah.
So I like Nutella and I like Reese's peanut butter cups. Those are my favorite candies. I'm less fond of Reese's Pieces specifically though, but regardless, I just like peanut butter and chocolate in general for the most part. So
Yeah.
like I haven't even seen the actual cookie yet. So let me open this. This is like a live reaction to this cookie because I have no idea if I'm gonna like it or not.
Live cookie reaction.
Even if it's like the kind of thing that sounds well, it doesn't look like the picture at all.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take a picture of this. It doesn't look bad either way, but it's just so silly the way that it's like completely different from what the box shows. I'll send this in Discord on the general chat. Live camera reaction. Yeah, because I'm a picky enough eater that like even if it's like stuff that I like together, I might not like them all together.
Yeah.
There you go. So as you can see, like 3 of the Reese's Pieces aren't even on the cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, CO19. I don't know what that is. I do not know what that is. I'm gonna cut this open. I have scissors here. YOURLOVE. I'm taking it, removing it from the packaging now. This is the thickest cookie I've ever seen. It's really
My
dense
God.
feeling.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to like this. I'm like worried it's gonna be really like floury. You know, it's just like I'm gonna eat it and it's gonna taste like sand. Alright, I'm just gonna try it. My fears have been confirmed.
Oh no.
It's a dry cookie. I got some of the Reese's Pieces in it. The peanut butter does not help with the dryness.
Oh.
I'm gonna break it in half and see if I can get to the Nutella. Oh, the Nutella is super dry looking too.
Oh.
Let me take a little bite with the Nutella. Okay, the Nutella isn't as dry as the cookie. But the cookie is literally crumbling as I'm trying to take a bite. It's not terrible with the Nutella. There's just way too much peanut butter. Because it makes it like way drier. Thank you, Kitty Cats, for the consolation bits.
To make up for the cookie being cringe.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it falls apart with everybody.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's continue with the game. While I eat this cringe fail cookie. This is it, Judgment Day. Today things are gonna get settled at last. A lot of things. Warg! What's the big idea? Sorry, Nick. I only touched your shoulder. I guess the shock isn't worn off from my running with the stun gun yesterday. She just conducts electricity now.
Yeah, jeez.
Anyhow, today's the last day of the trial. Good luck, Nick. Yeah, thanks, Maya. He's like, that was cringe.
He's so judgmental.
Look, are you seeing this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joke is looking glum as always. I hope Von Karma doesn't push him too hard.
Whoa! What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd cheer you up with a pat on the back. Maya, maybe you should go outside and discharge. Right, good idea. Try not to electrocute anyone on your way out. Just don't touch people anymore, okay?
Yeah, never again.
Mm-hmm. This cookie is inedible.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ooh, yeah, pal. What's got into that girl?
Detective Gumshoe.
Morning, Mr. Edgeworth. Good morning.
How did it go,
How'd it go,
detective?
detective? Oh, fuck.
You're the detective.
Oh.
Have no fear. As promised, I've captured our runaway caretaker.
And it's just not at all the right guy. It's just like some homeless dude they found.
I just brought him in. Took all night, pal.
Thanks, Detective Gumshoe. You must be tired.
Actually, after that shock I got on the way in, I feel pretty good.
This would be leagues better if it was M&M's and not Reese's Pieces. Like, I keep, because like they got the same like coating, so I'm looking at one of them and it looks so good because I'm like, oh, M&M's, but it's not M&M's. I'm gonna eat it and it's gonna taste like sand. Yogi says he's forgotten his own name, but that has to be a lie. Why would he want revenge on Edgeworth if he couldn't remember his past? He does remember, and I'm going to prove it! He just shakes him around. Tell me the truth! Court is now in session for the trial of Miles Edgeworth. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution is ready.
That's character growth. That is character growth.
Ooh.
Maybe not in the good way, but he did change over the course of the 3 days we've known him.
Yeah.
Right, very well. We've reached the final day of our proceedings in this trial. I ask that the prosecution submit decisive evidence. Come on, don't be awed into silence by every little thing he says. Very well, Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement.
Right. Thanks to Detective Gumshoe's effort, the boat rental shop caretaker has been arrested. In yesterday's trial, the defense asserted that the caretaker was the murderer. However, the caretaker has yet to confirm this.
Oh, he needs to say it for it to be proven.
Yeah. I would like to ask the defense to cross-examine him as much as necessary.
I know this isn't like a good pose for me to point this out on, but you know the like 2 like gold strips going down his like vest thing?
Yeah.
I love looking at them because it's so mac and cheese.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The color is very mac and
Yeah.
cheese.
Which is my favorite way to shade gold things, is like to use
Yeah.
like orange. Like I only use like full on yellow for like the highlight.
Oh, huh.
I love using like a warm gold tone.
Yeah.
Very well. Please bring the witness into the courtroom. Ah, this motherfucker again.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I believe you all remember our witness. He lives in the boat rental shop on the lake from where he witnessed the incident.
Can you give me 1 second? Because I'm like,
Right.
I want to like continue to attempt this cookie. But there's so little
Yeah.
like real estate on the wrapper that I like can't safely move the bits I've already eaten. So I'm gonna get like a paper towel to like rest the sign really quick.
Yeah, okay.
Chat for like 30 seconds.
Entertain chat for like 30 seconds. Okay.
Maybe
Yeah. Oh, since I have a soapbox now, I'd like to talk about how I've been annoying Juno with my annoying headphone bullshit for quite some time now. Quite a long time actually. I've been annoying them for my headphone bullshit. Talking about new headphones that I'm doing research on, that sort of thing. Constantly researching what I'm about to buy next, if I'm going to buy it, or whether I should buy it, that sort of thing. And I think my journey is over now. And by that I mean I've finally purchased, received, tested out, and have thoroughly enjoyed a pair of headphones that I can say for certain sound exactly how I want them to sound. And I'm very happy. I'm a very happy person. Now, this doesn't mean everything is over in audio, because I have like speakers. I have I don't have speakers. That's the problem. Is I need speakers for this sort of thing. Yeah, and knowing our partners with headphone stuff. Phone back.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey. How are you?
Good.
We talked about headphone stuff.
Yeah, but just briefly.
What'd you say?
I got new ones.
Oh yeah. The big boys
The big boys.
that
Yeah,
are
the
ending
big
your
kahuna.
career or whatever.
I'm ending it now.
I'm retiring.
Yeah,
It's been
I
fun.
have what I need.
Okay, I've safely transferred most of the cookie onto the paper towel. There are still some crumbs, but I'm just gonna brush them away.
Yeah,
And I also got kisses, just in case. I hate this.
just in case. Yeah.
Alright.
In addition, he has currently lost memory of his name and identity.
What news? Why did you run away yesterday?
The witness was not running away, as he will now testify.
I see. Very well, please begin your testimony.
I'm really sorry about just leaving yesterday like I did. But I wasn't running away or nothing. I went to buy some food for Pal, you see. I figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyhow. I mean, I need one of those motive things, right? And I don't got none.
You're flexing. I see you, Von Karma. I hate you.
So my testimony yesterday stands as is.
Very well. Yep. You've lost much of your memory, is that correct?
Yep, seems like it.
I like that he's slowly turning into sounding like a bird.
Yeah.
And how could you know that you didn't have anything to do with this incident? Or maybe you're lying about not having your memory, You know exactly who you are.
The witness has testified quite clearly that he has no memory of who he is. If you claim he's lying, then show the court proof.
How am I supposed to prove what's going on in that old codger's head? That's impossible.
You come to your senses, right? Very well, witness. Please continue.
How can you say you had no motive? I say you do. You had a grudge against Edgeworth and the victim, Robert Hammond. That's why you took revenge on them, right? You're just saying stuff, Nick.
Please don't make me repeat myself, Mr. Wright. This witness has no memory of anything beyond several years ago. He can't hold a grudge. It's impossible.
Okay. Alright. Might I say something, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. You've been saying the same thing now over and over. You've been calling the witness's memory of the past or lack thereof into question. But does this really have anything to do with the current case? Of course, Your Honor. The witness has said he has nothing to do with this case and no motive. Both of these statements are lies. I'm just gonna say that because I don't have any proof. I mean, I did, but I'm an idiot, so, you know.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, there's a serious problem with your claim. Or are you saying you know who this witness is? Of course, Your Honor.
Oh, now this is interesting. I would like to know myself. So, who is he?
Don't play dumb, Von Karma. Mr. Wright, please tell us this witness's name. It's Yanni Yogi, boys! We got him!
Yep.
His name is Yanni Yogi, a former court bailiff. Yogi? That's a stupid name, but it sounds familiar. Oh! Yanni Yogi, from the DL6 incident. I figures the judge would have heard of it. He was such a famous case, or it was such a famous case. But what does this mean? Your Honor, if this man is Mr. Yogi, then he has a clear motive.
Jumping to conclusions again, Mr. Wright. This witness is Yanni Yogi. Fascinating. However, how do you propose to prove this to the court? In the court of law, as you may recall, you need proof. And allow me to repeat once more, the witness has lost his memory.
You're a little quiet, baby.
Oh, well,
Just a little bit. This is it. I have to do this now. Okay, if I can't prove he's Yogi right here, right now, I've got nowhere else to go.
yeah.
Sorry, I was like, my heel was like resting on my chair in a weird way, and I accidentally hit the like valve that lowers the chair.
Oh.
I jump scared myself. Nick, how are you gonna prove it? How can you prove it is Yanni Yogi? It's okay. It's actually quite simple. Your Honor, please take this man's fingerprints. Then we'll compare them to the fingerprints on file for Yanni Yogi 15 years ago. I see. That makes sense. Huh?
I'm so very, very sorry, Mr. Wright.
Why?
The witness has no fingerprints.
What? No fingerprints?
You see, before I worked as a caretaker, I worked at a chemical plant. I burned my fingers working with the stuff. Hey,
What? Where did I go? Oh, I'm just down here. Okay, I thought I thought I moved out of frame entirely. Sorry. Yogi, you sneak! You burned your fingerprints off to hide your past. Well, if the witness has no fingerprints, I guess we will not be able to... There's other forms of DNA, like his hair, or his spit, or his blood.
yeah.
Or his... Never mind. No!
What will you do now, Mr. Wright? Hmm? It seems the case has been decided, no?
It has not. Ah! I know what happened. I know everything. I just can't prove it. But no, I can't let it end like this. I can't lose. There has to be another way.
There is no one who can testify as to who this witness is. No one.
Nick, what are we gonna do? I didn't even consider that he might have erased his fingerprints. What do I do? Just shit myself, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright? Perhaps you'd like to cross-examine this parrot for a little comic relief, hmm?
Yeah, very funny. You're a sore winner, Von Karma. Wait a second. Cross-examine his parrot. What is it, Nick? No, you're not going to... Your Honor. The defense would like to take Mr. Von Karma up on his proposal. Take Mr. Von Karma up.
Oh, on my proposal.
Exactly, Your Honor. I would like to cross-examine the witness's parrot. Order. Well, what do you think, Mr. Von Karma?
Need you even ask? This is a farce. I object.
Wait a second. You were the one who suggested I cross-examine the parrot, Von Karma. I have a right to do as you suggested.
Well, if you're so desperate, then please be my guest. Of course, should you go through with this, and nothing comes of it, then I hope you're ready for the consequences.
Nick, this is crazy.
Well, still want to go through with your little game.
Yes, of course. It'd be hilarious if nothing comes
Yeah.
of it. Let the parrot take the stand, and let the bodies hit the floor. I will cross-examine her, Your Honor.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Von Karma's rigged every person's testimony, every piece of evidence, except the parrot. And it could have also been the letter if I wasn't an idiot, but that's fine. She's my last chance, and it didn't have to be, but now she is, so it's fine.
Yeah.
At least I think so. Bailiff, bring in the parrot. Did you think it would end up like this, Paction?
No.
How do you feel about this?
I had a feeling that the parrot might have been used as a piece of evidence, but I did not expect this.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Yes.
Here's the thing, this was one of the few things I remembered about this case. I guess I'm at a point now where I can kind of divulge most of what I remembered about this case. I remembered that the old guy was Yanni Yogi. I remembered that Von Karma was behind it, but I didn't remember how.
Yeah.
And I remembered cross-examining the bird, because that's like a meme in
Yeah.
the Ace Attorney community. And also, almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
But as of like all of today, I completely forgot about the bird part.
Yeah.
Please tell us your name. Name! The witness is ignoring me. It must hurt to be ignored by a bird.
Yeah.
Ahem. Very well, witness. Who is your owner? Please testify for us.
Hello, what?
Certainly the most concise testimony we've had so far. Very well, begin your cross-examination. Right. What are you gonna do, Nick? I don't know. What do we do, Maya? This is great. This is fantastic.
Do you want to know a really fun fact about New Jersey law?
Yeah.
A horse can testify in court legally.
Why?
That is a thing in New Jersey law.
But why?
For this exact reason.
But
I don't know.
parrots can talk better than
genuinely
horses.
don't know.
Alexa. So volume the 9. Alexa, can horses testify in court?
Here's something I found on the web. According to legal.com, Spotted Horse elected to testify on his own behalf.
Wait, hold on.
What did I say?
Alexa, Spotted Horse to testify on his own behalf? No, don't shut off. Alexa, tell me about the Spotted Horse that's testifying in court.
Here's something I found on the web. According to wikipedia.org, called before the Indian agent, together with an interpreter, Big Spotted Horse, on being called a big horse thief, thought at first that he was being complimented as
Wait.
a great horse thief.
Hmm?
Wait, they're talking about a Native American guy who was called Big Spotted Horse.
Oh, never mind.
I was like, how could a horse be testifying on his own behalf? It's because it's a person named Spotted Horse. Never mind. Fun fact
Yeah,
for
yeah.
all of the USA, you can legally plant items on someone's person in court in very, very specific circumstances. Cool. Sounds like it sucks.
Yeah.
But cool.
Eh.
Professor? Witness! You can't just say hello and expect us to get anywhere. I want you to testify. Maya, you talk to her. Right, what do I say? What's your name? Maybe I should get her to say her name. Polly, what's your name?
Ollie, what?
Mr. Wright. I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with her owner's identity? Of course. Yes, it does.
Huh. Fascinating. You claim that the parrot's name will prove her owner's identity. Then show us this proof.
Nick, don't you think you're taking the bluffing a little too far? Listen, we're not here to answer the question of who is the caretaker. We're here to prove that he is a Yogi. All you have to do is tie the name Polly to Yogi. Your Honor, the proof that the parrot's name reveals the caretaker's identity is... the DL6 case file.
What a large file you have there. Which page is this proof on, then? Show us or stop wasting our time.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please show us the page. Where in this file is the information connected to the parrot's name? Hold on. I'm thinking. In suspect data. It's on the suspect data page. This page has all the information about Yanni Yogi. Right after he was arrested, his fiancée committed suicide, see? Indeed, it does say that, yes. What was his fiancée's name? Polly Jenkins. Polly. Exactly, Your Honor. He wanted to remember the name of his fiancée who had committed suicide. That's why he named his parrot after her. I see. I guess that is possible. It's also an extremely common name for a parrot.
Yes.
A mere coincidence, that's all. My granddaughter has a dog she calls Phoenix.
Why?
Well, she did name it after you, but that's besides the point. Well, Mr. Phoenix, right? Does that make you my granddaughter's
That
fiancé?
that is so not what we were trying to say.
Yeah.
This is what conservatives on Twitter talk like.
Yeah.
That's you.
Oh, she's only 7 years old.
Indeed. Alone, it is a little weak for evidence in a murder trial. We would need some other corroborating evidence. Where am I going to find that? Nick, we're getting closer. One more. If we could just get one more piece of evidence. Right, but what? Very well, witness. You may continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I think I just ask Maya to ask her stuff.
Yeah.
Ask her what's the safe number. Maybe I'll get her to say the number of that safe. Huh? The safe? Didn't he think that? How did she
Yeah.
The safe? Why? Maya, are you reading my thoughts again? No? No. Let's just try to get her to say anything, okay? Polly, what was the number to the safe in the shack?
1228. 1228.
My, what a reckless parrot. Well, Mr. Wright, you aren't claiming that this number has something to do with the caretaker. Actually, it does. Actually, it does. That's why I would say it.
Huh. Ridiculous. How can the number to a safe tell us who the caretaker is? Show us your proof.
Wait, today's 1228. In the
What?
game. Today,
Oh.
it's December 28th right now. It's 1228. Which would make sense if it's like DL6, because that's when the statute of limitations runs out.
Yeah.
And the DL6 case file is the thing. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
The DL6 case file? What is this obsession you have with that case?
Mr. Wright, where in this file is something relating to that safe number? Case summary, I guess? Yeah.
Oh yeah, because when the case was
Yeah.
done.
It's on the case summary page. The case summary. Specifically the date on which the DL6 incident occurred. The date of the incident, December 28th. Why, that's today's date, 15 years ago. And the number on that safe is 1228. Ah! Sorry, I saw a bug. It scared me. Flew right in my
Yeah.
face. You know how it is.
Oh come on.
Oh, is that what happened to you specifically?
Yes.
I didn't realize that it flew in your face the same way.
Yeah, that's why I was so scared.
I just thought you were like in a really intense battle with it, and that's why you were so worked up.
Yeah.
Anyway, he used the date of the DL6 incident as the number for your safe, Your Honor. That's how important that date was to him. I see. It certainly is an interesting coincidence. People often do set their secret numbers to dates.
This is not tangible proof. I set my ATM card's number to 0001 because I'm number 1.
I haven't lost my virginity because I never lose.
And I set my social security number to 0000000001 because as far as I know, I was the first person to ever live.
That's how old I am.
That's how old I am. But that has nothing to do with this date. Nothing.
That's enough. I think we've reached a conclusion here.
The mere coincidence, that's all.
True, that is a possibility. However, two coincidences at the same time feels more like a pattern to me.
What are you saying?
Summon the caretaker of the boat shop. Immediately. Witness. Tell us your name.
Wait. This witness, he doesn't remember.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I've accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm done.
Nick, he looks totally different. He's like a shonen antagonist now. It's
Yeah.
crazy. This is the real Yogi, I think. Finally. He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years. Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court.
My name is Yanni Yogi. 15 years ago, I served as a bailiff in this very court.
Order, order. Yanni Yogi. And my IP address is 00000000001. So it was you who killed Robert Hammond and tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death.
Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond, he said I was mentally unsound. He told me he would make me innocent, get me off the hook. So, I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything.
Also, if you get like, if you're like quote innocent by reason of insanity, you still go to jail.
Yeah,
You just go to a jail like specifically for insane
a
people.
different jail.
Yeah.
I lost my job, my fiance, my social standing. Then this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who had sent it. I thought this was my chance after 15 years. This was it. Finally, a chance to have my revenge on Robert Hammond and Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets.
Wait a moment. Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean?
I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter.
You're in court. You're under oath.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth yourself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond.
On Karma, where's Mr. Yogi?
Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession.
Then, the defendant Miles Edgeworth is.
Innocent. In this case, at least.
Very well. Will the defendant please take the stand? There are a few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you are cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I would like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections? I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything? Very well. This court finds the defendant Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Confetti! We need to clean this up though, the trial's not over. We're doing a different trial now. This is
Yeah,
trial 2. That is all. This court is adjourned. Did someone just say objection? It wasn't Von Karma. Wait, but that means... No. Edgeworth. I don't know if this will come up at any point during this game. I don't remember him saying it, or if he says it in the future. But his, like... I found this out, like, fairly recently, like a couple months ago. Before Ace Attorney was relevant in my life again. When Edgeworth says take that, he's got, like, a little bit of a British accent, and I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I feel a little betrayed.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I object to your judgment.
What do you mean?
I'm not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yogi killed Robert Hammond in revenge. But revenge for what?
Nick! Edgeworth is trying to confess. He's gonna say he's guilty. He's gonna tell them he was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He's gonna tell them he killed his own dad. I know, Maya. Jeez. What do I do? Leave it to Edgeworth. No, I'm sure Edgeworth thought about this one long and hard. Just like his... Never mind. This isn't my place to interfere. Nick, are you sure? There's nothing we can do about it. This is his problem now.
For 15 years, I have had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. Yanni Yogi wasn't the killer.
You mean in the incident where your father died?
From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was clear as day. The murderer, the criminal in the DL6 incident. It was me. Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I am guilty for the DL6, the statute of limitations of which ends today. The culprit is me.
Order, order. This was certainly unexpected. The defendant declared innocent is confessing to a different crime? A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out today. There's a lot of S's in that sentence.
Yeah.
Statute of limitations runs out today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this.
It's obvious. The old trial, right here, right now. We tried this man for his crime of 15 years ago.
I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. Alright, we're in the last leg of this trial.
Oh.
Might be a long leg, though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, right? I've just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you kill your dad? I didn't want to believe it myself, detective. But it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter what the circumstance. This is crazy. Just crazy.
Nick, what are you doing? Huh? Oh. I was just reading through the court record once more. I'm getting my case ready. Your case? For what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent.
What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it. In court.
I'm
sorry,
Edgeworth.
Edgeworth.
Edgeworth said. But I don't believe your nightmare.
What?
It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. Chuckle up. The real fight is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me.
Right.
What? Now then, I would like to resume our trial.
Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted to his own guilt. He has confessed his own crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examination. The statute of limitations on the deal... Excuse me, I burped. Instant runs out today.
I love that because I didn't hear the burp. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you were quiet.
It was
for a
very
second.
quiet.
Yeah.
Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this one by the book.
I see. Does the defense have any objections? No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the start. Or from the very beginning, didn't you? Very well. Will Miles Edgeworth take the stand? Which is the first time in this game that they're making the suspect take the stand, which is like the thing that you're supposed to do in court.
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
just have a bunch of witnesses only.
Mhm.
Will the witness state his name and profession? Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth. 15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court.
When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work. Please, please. Thank you for your input, Maya.
Yeah.
That day, I'd gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator.
18 hours.
My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. Through it,
Oh, you're cutting
and
out.
just up. stood up Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting.
Second. Alright, we should be good.
A moment later, there was a single gunshot and then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all.
And until now, you thought this memory was a dream?
We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours.
Sorry, I mean 20.
Sorry, I mean 4. The oxygen in the elevator ran out after 3 hours. And I lost my memory of the events. Ah, the Zane claim Mr. Yogi was made.
Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor.
So you said that the elevator ran out of oxygen after 2 hours?
No, 1 hour.
Alright, so about 15 minutes.
Objection! Are you sure you only heard one gunshot?
Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came.
Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze.
What?
Thank you. I see. No, you don't. No, Your Honor. Unfortunately, you don't. I was joking, but okay. Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony.
You do enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence, unless you can tell us what page it's on.
Reading your fucking stealth, Karma. Jesus.
Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony?
Victim data. Look at the victim data of this file. It says it quite plainly. The murder weapon was fired twice. Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot. Yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Like Yanni Yogi?
Yeah.
Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident.
What? I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot fired had something to do with the case? Yes, I do. Your Honor, I think I will be able to show you proof.
What? Impossible.
Now, Mr. Von Karma, save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Very well, Mr. Wright, show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing of the pistol is related to this incident? It's probably the DL6 case file again. Oh, it's not. Okay.
The bullet?
No, the photo. There we go, this. Take that! Look at this photograph. I won't say it. I won't say
Okay.
it.
I'm proud of you.
She says it so many times that
Yeah,
it's not funny
yeah,
anymore.
it's
if I
tempting.
said it. But whenever I do say it, every time it does make me laugh. This is a photograph of the scene of the car 15 years ago. I can see the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So, let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired. Where? Your
On
Honor,
the door.
Please get a clue. Yeah. That was what I was saying when I said that the window was broken. Is I remembered
okay.
this picture, but I didn't remember when we saw it or that we had it. But it's
Yeah.
this. He points to the photo really aggressively. Take that! As should be obvious, the contradiction is here. I see a bullet hole in the door. Sorry. Your Honor! Stop burping. Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there was also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Order! Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course. Well, obviously, but...
Yeah. I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page.
The case summary, that's on page 1.
What is written there? Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene.
Except it didn't because it went out the window.
Yeah.
He does have a point.
That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory's Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son.
But then where did the other bullet that went out the window go?
Yeah.
That is the truth of this matter, the whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that had made the bullet hole in the door.
Like a bullet? I don't know
Yeah.
if there's many things that can make a bullet hole.
That is definitely a bullet hole.
This is a very weak argument from him. I'm gonna say it.
He is backed into a wall or an elevator door, perhaps.
Yeah. Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly. That the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked the second bullet. Oh, you overestimate the police.
Yeah.
So all we have is a single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. But that's... Your Honor, with all due respect, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I praise the judge for his wisdom in the matter.
What wisdom? You just did the dumbest shit. And then he was like, yes, I agree. God, how did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. There's literally a bullet hole in the door. Was I wrong? You're gonna sit there and you're gonna tell me I'm wrong?
It's like the victim was stabbed 28 times. And then
But there was only
attorney's
one
like,
knife?
But we didn't find a knife, therefore the knife didn't exist.
Yeah, therefore he wasn't stabbed. And it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Nick is like, you're wrong. You're gonna tell me I'm wrong? You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me I'm wrong? There was a bullet hole in the door!
Yeah.
She came down in a bubble, dog. What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? Sorry, Maya. What? There just wasn't a second bullet, I guess.
Yeah.
The second bullet wasn't there. All my conjectures are for nothing, but there's literally proof of the second bullet.
Yeah.
And you pointed that out. There's irrevocably, like, we've proven that the gun was fired twice, so there's literally a second bullet.
Yes. Yeah.
But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent. I'm sorry. It's just when I saw the photograph, I thought the 2 shots had been fired. Because they had! Oh my god. I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple, but oh. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick, you're an idiot. Well, it seems that we finally cleared up this incident. Only one bullet was found at the scene of the crime, which means that only one bullet was fired, even though we've proven that 2 bullets were fired. But, you know, that shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth.
Precisely.
I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? No.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any objections?
No. No, I do not.
So you killed your father, though that was not your intention.
Yes, I did.
Oh no! He's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Right? Oh, that's you, sorry.
Right now.
Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? Yes! I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There's so many things I know I should be saying, but my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright? I have an objection. I would like to say one. You don't need to yell it. You can just say you had an objection. Your Honor, I object. What was the thing that Edgeworth said in the third trial? He was like, objection. He was like, what are you objecting to? He was like, I was hoping to come up with something.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object?
Oof. Nick? I don't know. His case is perfect. I was hoping to come up with something.
Yeah.
Oh no. Grah. It must exist. Ugh, the second bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist. But where? Someone took it. Seems waiting is not going to produce us any. He's just standing around like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, Your Honor, hold on. Huh? The second bullet, it existed. What? But we've just heard proof. There was no proof. He just said that
Wasn't
it didn't.
proof. Yeah.
I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. But it's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. Sorry, this is really tiring. That's what happened now.
Yeah.
But who? The murderer.
Hold on just a second, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry. The murderer? And tell us, just who is this murderer?
Sorry, it was just the way you like slid into my carpet. And then like barely being able to hear you play. I'm still thinking about that one. So the criminal took the second bullet, but why? Huh? First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? The murderer had to find it. No, the murderer didn't need it, sorry. Why would the murderer have spent the time to look for that stray bullet? I haven't got a clue. What's wrong, Mr. Wright?
The murderer had no reason to take that bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true.
Had to take it. Had to take it. The murderer, what does that mean? You're thinking too normal, think crazy. Who wins in a fight, the smart one or the crazy
You're
one?
the crazy one.
Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken. Mr. Right? Ah,
Yeah.
ah. Mia! Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, the murderer had no intention of taking the... Is Phoenix Wright, like, psychic now? Did he get the psychic training?
Maybe.
Did he, like, inherit Maya's powers? What's going on here? Anyway,
Yeah.
the murderer had no intention of taking the bullet from the scene. But, the murderer had to take that bullet. Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean? Well, for instance... For instance, what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer? The bullet hit the murderer. Just saying, for instance. I mean, if it hit you, you'd have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know? Wait a second. That was really stupid. I was just talking off the top of my head, but what if that's what really happened? Let me get this straight. You like women? No, sir, I don't. So at the time of the murder, the murderer themselves was
Let me
shot?
get this gay.
Yeah, let me get this gay. Hold on. And they left with the second bullet still inside of them, thus leaving only one bullet at the scene of the crime. Yes, I guess that's how it would work. Yes, but there's a problem with that. The other two people rescued from that elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yanni Yogi, were both unharmed. So that would mean the murderer came from outside. Yes. Two men fight inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picks up the pistol at his feet and throws it. The pistol discharges and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. The boy loses consciousness, and the murderer opens the elevator door and sees the men inside. Mr. Wright, you're truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known. We're having a sapphic catastrophe in chat right now.
Hold on. Oh, I see.
Women!
Back over.
It's okay, I also like women, and I think Phoenix Wright also likes women.
Yes.
He's bisexual, we know this.
Mhm.
This is true. I can tell you're grasping yet. I cannot deny the possibility of what you say.
What are you saying? Deny it. Deny it. No one involved with this incident was wounded. There was no murderer.
Except for Miles Edgeworth, who was definitely a murderer, and we should put him away forever.
Yeah.
No one was wounded at the time of the incident. He's right. I can't think of anyone. Hey, Nick. Huh? I just thought of something really crazy. Crazy? I mean, they do win in fights very often. Remember what Mr. Grossbeck said yesterday? I doubt he does her proudly. He has a crush on Mia, but she's dead now, so now he's crushing on Edgeworth, obviously. Anyway, those dudes.
Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see. Yes, an unusual event for the man. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken in his many years of prosecuting.
He's like, that was the first and the last vacation he's taken in his many years.
Yeah.
What if Von Karma didn't take that vacation because of shock, but took it because he was injured?
Ooh.
It could only mean one thing. He was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth. He was Von Karma. Oh man. He needs someone to top him back. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You seem dazed. No, Your Honor. Well, you've indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect? Alright, this is gonna sound crazy, but hear me out.
Yeah.
Say it now. Your Honor, there is a suspect. One lone suspect. It's like, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
Get a load of this guy. Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect? The Dracula! Vampire! I mean, my hands are shaking. What? Von Karma!
On Karma.
You mean the Von Karma? The prosecutor? The one standing right over there? That Von Karma? No! We've been through this like 18 times this case. There's only one Miles Edgeworth, there's only one Von Karma, there's 3 Phoenix Wrights. You don't object?
I see no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection?
Because you took a vacation for several months starting the day after the incident. Yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason?
You're claiming I took a vacation to heal my injury from the incident. Fascinating. Prove it. I would have needed surgery, no? Or did I go under the knife at Mr. Wright? Bring the doctor that operated on me. Have him testify.
Nick! Let's find out whose doctor is.
No use.
Edgeworth.
I know Von Karma perhaps too well. He's perfect. He wouldn't leave clues. He probably didn't undergo surgery. That would leave a doctor as a witness.
Nobody's that perfect.
Maybe that's why he keeps grabbing his arm.
Yeah. So what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? That's insane! No, he couldn't have. You can't just pull bullets out of yourself. Wait. What does that mean? That bullet has to be somewhere. But where? He wouldn't want the bullet to show up at all.
Well, Mr. Wright.
He would want to keep it
In his arm.
in himself, yeah.
Can you produce evidence to prove that I was shot?
Alright, Von Karma. I'll prove it. And I'll even use evidence. I know how you like it so much.
What?
The evidence that proves Von Karma was shot is... Do you see it?
Oh, let me zoom in. Is it a metal detector? Are we gonna use the metal detector to,
Uh-huh.
and then hover over his arm?
Yeah. This is the last thing I remembered from this case.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Von Karma is perfect. He wouldn't risk surgery leaving an evidence trail. So then I ask, where is that bullet now? I think it unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself. You don't mean... Mm-hmm, I do. There is the possibility that the bullet is still inside Von Karma. Is that even possible? For all these years? I mean, you can get like a... Have you ever had like pencil lead stabbed into your like hand? And that just stays there forever, so like a bullet's basically the same thing, right?
I mean, pencil lead, bullet lead, same thing.
Yeah. Well, there's one way to find out. We could use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma, I'm gonna run this over you and see what we find. You must be a nightmare at airports.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's why he doesn't vacation, because he can't go to TSA.
Yeah,
This
there we
poor,
go.
he's sweating bullets, dare I say.
I refuse.
You refuse. But refusing this means... You acknowledge that the bullet is still inside you? Order! Your Honor, the defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector.
Judge, I call for a suspension of this trial. This is an invasion of privacy.
The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. It was you who said we had to end it right here, right now. Enough. I permit the use of the metal detector. Mr. Von Karma, you will submit yourself to testing. Nick, what does this mean? I don't know. We have to give it a shot. like from a gun. Get it?
Ah. That is a one hell of a beep.
Yeah. He reacted. Something's inside his right shoulder. Like a butterfly. Sorry, that was a really obscure reference. The bullet.
Okay.
What?
Never mind.
It's a Vocaloid song called Butterfly on Your Right Shoulder. It's a good song.
Yeah.
Mr. Von Karma.
You. It was you. I was afraid this would happen.
So him grabbing his sleeve is not the arm that the
Oh,
bullet was
it's
in.
the wrong arm.
But you'll notice every time that he got surprised, he would like kind of grab his shoulder like that. So you were on the right track with that.
Yeah.
Not in the not even just now. Like he would flash that pose when he was surprised.
Okay.
And so I remained silent. Indeed, there is a bullet in my shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this incident.
What?
I was shot in the shoulder long before the DL6 incident. I claim that the bullet in my shoulder has no relation to the DL6.
But Mr. Von Karma, can you prove that?
Prove? I have no obligation to prove anything.
You kind of do.
As we all know, evidence has no place in court. It is Mr. Wright who must have something to prove here. Not I.
Mr. Wright. Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6?
Of course he can't. You don't have any of the DL6 evidence.
That's because you took it out of the records room yesterday.
With no proof, you cannot convict me of any crime. So sorry, Mr. Wright.
No, I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Von Karma.
What?
You were close. One day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof.
What?
Who would have thought you would dig your own grave trying to convict Edgeworth? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident. And here's my final proof. The bullet.
The other bullet.
The other bullet. That's a bullet.
Where did you get that?
This is the bullet used in the DL6 incident. This was taken from the heart of the victim, Mr. Gregory Edgeworth. The bullet is preserved quite nicely with all the ballistic markings intact.
Ballistic markings?
Maybe we need a refresher. Alexa, what's with ballistic markings?
Here's something I found on the web. According to LATimes.com, ballistic 3D printing is the shorthand description of the distinctive marks left on every bullet fired by a rifle or handgun.
Alexa, thank you.
You bet.
You
Anytime.
bet. You may recall the term. It came up in the first trial 2 days ago. Are they going to re-explain it now? Am I an idiot?
Oh.
Yeah, ballistic markings are the fingerprint of a weapon. All bullets fired from a gun are marked with that weapon's unique pattern. By examining the markings, you can tell which weapon fired the bullet. It's quite accurate. We have 2 bullets in our possession. One, the bullet removed from Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other, Mr. Von Karma, is the bullet buried in your shoulder. We could analyze both bullets. Then, if the markings matched, we would know that both bullets have been fired from the same gun. The very same pistol. In other words, the murder weapon that killed Gregory Edgeworth. Mr. Von Karma, will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder. Then we'll compare the ballistic markings to those on this bullet. And solve this case once and for all. Well, Mr. Von Karma? You alright?
Or, ow! That scream. I've heard that scream before.
It's a really bad scream.
I mean, it's how could you ever forget a scream like this?
Yeah.
No.
Oh god, we're doing this again? We're gonna skip past this.
can't breathe.
I'm just skipping past this. I don't wanna read this a third time.
my air.
It's much more reserved this time. In
Yeah.
the dream. Thank you for the artistic rendition carpet. Hey,
Scream I heard in the elevator. 15 years ago. Von Karma, it was you who screamed.
Mr. Von Karma. Whoa.
Warg. Edgeworth, only you would dare defy me.
Let's see.
So it was you.
Oh my god.
You and your father are my curse. Your father shamed me with a penalty on my record. And you left a scar on my shoulder that would never fade. I'll bury you with my bare hands. Death.
Anyway, 15 years earlier.
Chief Prosecutor, I am sorry.
Von Karma, it's not like you to make this kind of error. I never would have thought that Edgeworth would be the one to catch you.
I was careless.
I'm sorry, but you will have to be penalized. I've covered for you in the past, but not this time.
Edgeworth.
Think that's you.
Oh, it was a shock like none I'd ever known. Me, penalized. It took hours for me to regain my composure.
Me, penalized, but my penis is great.
Suddenly, I found myself in the darkness. I was in the court records room. I must have wandered in there without thinking where I was going. The room was pitch black. The lights must have gone out. I went out into the hall and felt my way to the elevator. I pressed the button, but nothing happened. Then, there was a noise. I was in pain, a horrible burning pain in my shoulder. Just then the lights came back on. The elevator door opened before my eyes. I saw 3 people inside, all lying unconscious from oxygen deprivation. It only took 15 seconds.
He looks like, well, he kind of looks like Gru from Despicable Me a little bit if he had like a normal nose.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
But he also kind of looks like, Mr. Sandman from Punch-Out, which is
Oh, I
a
don't
character
remember.
that you probably wouldn't recognize just thinking of, but yeah. Fun fact, getting shot isn't actually that painful, it's mostly just incredibly burning. So I've heard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Much to my surprise, a pistol lay at my feet. I knew then it was destiny.
Well, you just reused that, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
In his last moments, Gregory Edgeworth was still unconscious. He died never knowing who had shot him.
So he didn't lie on purpose, he just didn't know.
Yeah.
Later he spoke through a medium, blaming Mr. Yogi.
But you know how there was like a ton of ellipses when they showed what's the word? Accusing Mr. Yogi.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't saying that to be like ghostly, he was just saying that because he like really had to think about it.
Okay.
He was like, that's just my guess. He's just like, it was, it was,
Well, it had to be Yogi.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was
come on.
Yeti Yogi, I guess. Was that his name? I don't know. I didn't know him too well.
Yeah.
He was fooled. It was the perfect crime.
Sorry, I burped.
I burped again. Anyways. Who would have thought another man would have come to open that elevator door? Judge,
What?
what are you doing? Do your job. Bring an end to this miserable charade. Now, end it!
Very well. It appears that we have come a very long way to the end of this maze. 15 years later, Mr. Miles Edgeworth,
Yes, Your Honor.
you were innocent. You are innocent. As you said, it was all a nightmare.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty again.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Someone's got to clean the confetti up.
Yeah, it's a lot of confetti.
There's 2 loads of confetti in this
Yeah.
courtroom already.
That's too much. That
Yeah.
is all. This court is adjourned. See, I could have made a joke about loads, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was going to, but I didn't.
I only said that because, like, you sighed in a way that was like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, yeah.
Nick, we did it! Did you see his face? Von Karma looked even paler than usual. He was pretending to be all cool, but inside he crushed him, Nick. Crushed! Destroyed by facts and logic. I'm gonna say I'm impressed. It was pretty close, though. I was sure we'd had it. I know, I was on the verge of tears the whole time myself. But now it's all just a good memory. So it's finally over, Edgeworth.
Right.
Yeah?
I'm not sure how to say this.
I know. Try thank you.
I see. Thank you. Right.
You're welcome. I think you could have done better than that.
Sorry. I'm not good at this sort of thing.
You got a lot to learn, Edgeworth. She's got you there. Oh.
Whoop! Amazing, pal. You pulled through just like what I thought you would. I'll never forget this. I owe you one, pal. And tonight, let's party. Dinner's on me. Yeah, my salary went down a bit this month. But who cares?
See, Mr. Edgeworth? You should take a lesson from Detective Gumshoe. That's how you say thank you.
I see.
Whoop.
I feel foolish.
Don't worry. Take it a little at a time. You'll get used to it. It's been 15 years since I've seen this Edgeworth this unguarded.
Hey, y'all.
Are you here? Lotta!
Yo, great in there.
Thank you.
Yo, Edgeworth, congrats. Thank y'all very much. I knew you were innocent from the start, of course. Just look at you. Your hand in the cookie jar even if no one was there. You were the witness on the first day of the trial, weren't you? Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones, eh?
Speaking of which, what are you doing now, Lotta?
Who, me? Oh, I went back to college. I gave up on trying to be an investigative photographer pretty quick.
Really? That's too bad.
Huh? Isn't that the hot dog guy from the park?
Huh? It's over, Nick. My life is over. What a sad face, Larry. What happened now? Oh, Nick, I'm not long for this world. You don't look sick. It's Beyonce. She's going to live in Paris. Paris, Nick. She's leaving me behind. Should have seen that coming.
Oh.
Yo, Edgy, there you are.
Oh, yes. Here I am.
Congrats, Edgy. Here's a little gift from me in celebration.
Celebration? That's unusual for you. Harry Butt. You come along tonight too, my treat pal.
Huh? Thanks. Looking forward to it. Yo, Nick. That's the suit that questioned me. When he says treat, that's not police talk for prison food, right? Right? I think you'll be fine, Larry.
Right.
Yeah? What's up?
That envelope that Larry gave me, it's got money in it.
Well, yeah. That's not that strange. People give money away to celebrate sometimes.
It's $38, right?
Huh. What a weird amount. I mean, it's not a little, but it's not a lot either. $38 exactly? No. Nick! Wasn't that exactly the amount of lunch money that was stolen from Edgeworth in school? $38. No. No! Larry, it was you!
What are you so surprised about, right?
Huh?
Larry was absent that day from school, right? That doesn't automatically rule him out as a suspect.
What?
Think back to that day 15 years ago. Larry took the day off, but he was bored, so he came into school anyway. Then he saw the money lying there, and the rest is history.
I never was good at history. Edgeworth, you didn't know, did you?
I suspected. I just couldn't picture Larry protecting you like he did that day. Everyone else was saying you did it. The whole class was against you, remember?
Yeah, too well.
Right. You may not know this, but we used to have a saying back in school. When something smells, it's usually the butt.
Oh, I know. Good night, then. I know,
Good night,
I
then.
know.
Really, right? I'm surprised you didn't figure it out.
Well, this sure is an unexpected turn of events, eh? Edgeworth.
Hmm?
You should have told me. Now, Nick, it was 15 years ago. Don't you think the statute of limitations has run out, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'd say so, yes.
There you have it. Where does that leave me? I became a defense attorney because of what you two did.
Well, you have always been something of an insufferable emotionalist.
Yeah, and you get worked up too easily, too. The death sentence for both of you. Man, if only I'd known I would have become a prosecutor.
Same goes for me, only the other way around. For the longest time, I thought that I might have killed my own father. I thought I might be a criminal. I became a prosecutor in part to punish myself. If I had known the truth, I might have become a defense attorney after all.
Edgeworth.
Want to switch, right? Hey, y'all! Line up, I'll take a photo.
Hey, photo time, let's go.
And after that, dinner on me.
Detective Gumshoe took us out on the town that night. We celebrated Edgeworth's newfound freedom, even though Edgeworth himself was still in detention. That's not really... Whoa, I went a little overboard yesterday. My head hurts. Huh? It's still only 5. Maybe I should go back to sleep. Hmm? What's this? A letter? Good morning, Nick. You were really impressive yesterday. Seeing you... It made me think about what I'm doing here. I'm a spirit medium, in training, of course. I wanted to help Mr. Edgeworth, too. I wanted to help you, but I couldn't. I was useless. So I've decided to go back to my training. I'll become a full-fledged spirit medium, for starters. I couldn't say it to your face, so I left this letter. Goodbye, Nick. Goodbye? What time is it? Ah, the first trains for the mountains have already left. To the station! I guess I'm too late. Hey! Nick! Maya! So, you're leaving? Yeah. It's hard being a spirit medium who can't talk to spirits. And I think you'll do fine without me, Nick. Be good, okay? Wait! What? I never could have saved Edgeworth without your help. Huh? On the last day of the trial, I heard her. I heard Mia's voice. You heard my sister? Yes, only her voice, but still. It was at the very end when I thought we'd lost everything. Well, that's my sister for you. Detective Gumshoe helped, and Mr. Grossberg, and even Larry. I'm the only one who couldn't help. I was useless, Nick. But you were the one who stopped Von Karma, Maya. Huh? I didn't do anything! All I did was wander around in a daze. Sorry, but I have evidence that you helped. Evidence? Yeah, the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
She shoves it in her face. Take that! A bullet? Von Karma was convinced you'd taken all the evidence pertaining to the DL6. But you were the one who rescued the last piece of evidence we needed. This was the bullet that put an end to Von Karma. And you were the one who gave it to me. Nick. Thanks, Maya. I couldn't have done it without you. I'll be back soon. Huh? I'm going to complete my training and come back. Okay, I'll be waiting. Of course you will. You can't run that office by yourself. You're hopeless. I don't know about that. The hell is that? Is it the train?
The train.
It's just a very jarring train noise.
It is a weird train noise, yeah.
So, this is it. See you soon. Oh, see you soon, man. Aw.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. And so my story ends. Time to turn a new page and say goodbye to the novice defense attorney that I once was. Now a new story begins, with the same old crazy cast of characters.
Don't think you've graduated yet, amateur.
Oh, it's just playing out. Perhaps you'd like to rethink that claim. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. Yeah!
Yeah!
We did it!
Woo!
What'd you think?
That was awesome.
Oh. Came to wish
Oh,
everyone a
egg
happy
bat.
New
Oh.
Year. Talk
Talk about a
pleasant
pleasant surprise.
surprise.
Then he hung his head low and went right back outside. Kind of like he was embarrassed or something. Strange, huh?
Sorry, it just auto goes.
Yeah. Alright, I'll be on my edge now.
on your Edgeworth edge. Huh? Nick? Huh, haven't seen him lately. Ooh, me? I've been working at a cheese shop. That Missy's a nice lady, but she's not exactly what you call a cheap date. Huh? Oh, she's in Hawaii right now, yeah. Tatsuro Iwamoto. I don't know why I wanted to say that name out loud, but I did. Oh boy, remember him? Oh, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I remember him. I hear he's been busy lately. You don't have to ring my own bell, but I sort of taught him everything he knows. I'm sure he's grateful. Congrats on the crime. Thank you, Carpet.
Yeah!
Oh, it's him. I don't remember who played him.
Phoenix, right?
Okay.
Ah, the defense attorney for whom I wrote that affidavit for, yes. Oh, you should know I've taken over management of the Gatewater Hotel
Beat the
recently.
game, bits
You should be
woo.
in the area. Please stop by.
Kippy Cats, thank you for the bits. That's a lot of bits. Wow.
Let's see how many bits.
Thank you.
Whoa, that's a lot of bits.
1,500 bits.
Yeah.
Ahem. Oh, it's you. Phoenix Wright. Ah, yes, me as understudy, was he not? I wonder how he's doing. Haven't seen him of late. Ah, the days of my youth.
The scent of
Like the
fresh
scent of fresh
lemons.
lemon, you see.
Congrats, Masakazu
Sugimori.
Sugimori.
A lot of you characters. Is he an
Oh, is
actor? I think you can. Oh.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Thank you, old bag. Atsushi Mori. I love sushi.
Very great job as sushi. I don't remember your voice.
He was
I'm sure I
Shadow
would've
the
missed
Hedgehog.
Oh, and I'm keeping my face out of the public eye until the show's over. I wouldn't want to ruin any kids' dreams, you know?
Hiroshi
Lovely.
Nakaya. And Ayumi Terada. Publicity.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a letter from Maya the other day. It sounds like she caught us cold standing under a waterfall. I wanted to visit, but I didn't have time, so I sent her some Pink Princess trading cards. She said she can't buy them where she is. What kind of place is she living at anyway? A mountain.
Yeah.
She's living on a mountain. Yumiko Uchida. Oh god, how did he go? Right, who's that? You want to talk? Let's talk Pink Princess, alright. But, you know, I snuck into the studio the other day. And I saw her, the one inside the Pink Princess suit. Ah, what a dog. It was kind of a shock for a boy of my tender age. I think I'm transgender now.
Yeah, I remember right. That lawyer guy. Oh, me? I'm in training to become a paranormal photographer. You know, that picture I took of everyone. Well, just behind them, there's a ghost.
Whoa.
For real. Now that's talent. I'm gonna be famous.
It's like the red circle and arrow, and it's just nothing.
yeah.
Blah-blah.
Or it's like a natural artifact that photos like that camera has.
Oh, there is a ghost.
Never mind. There really is a ghost.
I like that it's perfectly framed for her to be in it too.
I was just about to say, I'm so glad that they left room for the ghost.
Good game, Capcom. Oh, there's the art.
A great new episode has been added.
This is the bonus episode. This is like the DLC. I think this only came with like the trilogy.
Okay.
But we're not gonna play it now.
Yeah.
Let's do it in a second file for some reason. Get it? It's called Rise from the Ashes because it's Phoenix, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't start it. I just want to go back to the. No. Okay, we'll watch the cutscene. It's a precursor for when we go back to this. Oh my god! It's fully animated. Oh my god! Whoa! Oh my god! It's 3D!
What?
What the heck is going on?
What does that mean?
I don't remember any of this. Oh my god! Alright, and that's where we're gonna end it, I guess.
Ooh.
So that's a teaser for what's to come.
Man.
I saw part of that case, the fifth case. I didn't get to the end of it though. I didn't even get to the trial. I don't even think I got past like the first day of collecting evidence, so I really don't know that much about it. But I do know there's a cowboy character in it, and I love him.
Ooh.
But he also gives me the vibe that he might be the killer, so
Oh yeah.
it's very sad. But that one's fun. But it doesn't have like any of the like characters that we know from like the game so far. It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's for another time. Care to share your thoughts on the game and or the final case?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah. After we've reached the end of it, do you have a favorite character?
Ooh, the
Wait, the director or the producer?
director.
Salmonella.
Yeah, Salmonella. Yeah, exactly.
Why is he your favorite character?
He was my favorite to voice, and I was so sad that I didn't get to voice him more.
That's fair.
I know that like it probably like sounds it's more fun for me than it is for the audience. but I'm
No,
like,
I
yeah.
totally understand. I think my favorite voice was Cody's, and like he's just like a kid.
Yeah.
But I love doing the like anime boy voice.
Yeah.
But he's not my favorite character.
Mm.
I mean, of course, Edgeworth is 100% Blorbo material.
Mhm.
He was my favorite when I first played this game. I love him, and
Yeah.
he's great. And he's
Oh.
just the right amount of horrible and tragic.
Yeah.
And I love that. But I guess aside from him, I don't know who my favorite like side character is, like on the level of Salmonella. Salmonella lost his apes.
Yeah.
I mean, from that case, I love the producer whose name is slipping my mind right now. Dee Vasquez. 'Cause
Dee Vasquez,
She's
yeah.
so pretty and so scary, and
Yeah.
I want her.
Mhm.
April May and Red White I also adore. They're
Yes.
great. I love the villains in this game.
Yeah.
Particularly. They're always so good.
Yeah.
Like there's even something to Von Karma that I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you be interested in playing the DLC case and or the second game at some point?
Yeah. Why not?
Do you want to jump right into the DLC case like just like next stream, or do you want to take a little break?
We can take a little break, unless you don't have anything else to do for stream.
I do have other games lined up, but it's like we might take like a one stream break, you know what I mean, or like a 1 week top break, and then I'll probably play like at least one other game in its entirety before we go back to the second game. But we do have all three games just right here, so
Yeah.
whenever it's here. Whenever we want to, it's here. That's what I meant to say. Whenever it's here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. It's about midnight for me. But we did get our 3 hours in. So
Yeah.
hope you're happy.
Yeah.
I love you all. And I hope you all have a lovely evening. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, this was fun.
Yeah, this is fun. And whatever our next stream is, I hope to see you there. Yeah. Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye.